another episode of On the Block with Jen. I'm YouTube's bad girl. It's good to see you here on a Monday night. I'm glad you joined me on a Monday night. Okay. Um, this subject was brought to you by, one of my panelists. Her name is Miss Polly. And although it's something that I touched on briefly during one of my past monologues, I said, why not make a whole show of it? Especially on the heels of Shanquella Robinson's murder. I thought this was a great topic. I've also heard women say that they've gone on girl trips and it's been hell. I went on a girl trip one time and there was a little friction, you know what I mean, on the girls trip. No one ended up dead, but there was friction. So I wanted to explore why girls tend to have more frenemies than men. Now, that's not to say that men don't have frenemies, but I think the dynamic is different. And I wanted to explore that. Tomorrow, I want to address the whole Cardi B, Nicole Arbor beef that's been going on Twitter. I think that beef is very, very interesting. Nicole Arbor is a straight up white girl, like lily white, like blonde hair, blue eyes. She's a YouTube personality, an Instagram personality, a Twitter personality. I don't know what she does past that, except I do know she was in one of the last movies I was in called White People Money. Okay. She did play like an award announcer in White People Money. We didn't get to meet because we shot our scenes on different days. So we didn't cross paths, which is great because I'm not a fan of hers. I'm not fond of Nicole Arbor. But apparently Nicole Arbor is now beefing with Cardi B over Twitter. And we get offended when someone outside the community says something about how we get down, right? Our culture. I mean, they even do it to me, even though my culture is black and brown. When I say something, I'll have black people like, you can't say that, you're Latin, right? Even though my entire family, my friends, my upbringing, my community, my culture is black and brown. If I say something I don't like about the community, I get, the pushback. You ain't black, you can't say that, right? So, but I am in the community. So when someone I consider outside the community, and outside the community, I consider a white person. That's what I consider outside of our community. If someone of any indigenous culture says something about us, I feel like they have a right because we're all in this together, whether we like it or not, whether you want to do the brown paper bag test and this one speaks Spanish and that one is too light and that one is dark and that one, there's a lot of little factions and a lot of division, especially coming from people that are trying to monetize division and friction online. It's like you got this group, you got the FBAs, you got the ADOS over there, you got the Latinos, you got the Hispanics, you got the Latinx, you got the Nincantancla, you got the Tainos. There's a whole bunch of different sectors and factions, but there's all of us, and then there's white, right? And that's a huge difference, right? So of course we fight amongst each other, and it's like, nah, you're the preference, and yeah, all that shit goes on. But at the end of the day, we are people of color as opposed to white, right? So Nicole Arbor clapped back at Cardi B very viciously. And the problem with what Nicole Arbor said is that she had a point. Okay, the pink neck, the pink toes, she had a point. She had a point. Very specifically, Cardi B posted a picture of like this Joker character with a fake gun walking, like the way Diddy did his Halloween costume, but it wasn't Diddy, but it was the same costume. And Cardi B, I guess, is promoting whoever that rapper is, and the guy is walking in a Joker costume and pointing the gun or whatever. So Nicole Arbor, kind of, I guess, checking for that clout that we're all checking for. If we're on YouTube, we're all looking for quote unquote clout, right? Because we're not here, just to beat off. We're here so people could come watch us and people could talk about us, right? I don't know what's so bad about admitting that. People are like, you clout chasing. Well, bitch, we all clout chasing. Anytime you type in a box, you clout chasing because you ain't talking to yourself. If you throw something in the chat, you're talking at somebody, or you're in a verbal fisticuffs with somebody else. So we're all doing the same fucking shit. But I don't know why it's used as some sort of insult. Yeah, clout chasing. We're all, if that's the case, then we're all fucking looking for clout. You dumb bitch. Like, we're all looking for clout. So anyway, I guess Nicole Arbor did some clout chasing. And told Cardi B on a tweet, it's crazy that Takeoff just died and you're still promoting death, right, amongst black men. I thought that shit was pretty deep. I mean, she has a point. Why is our culture? And remember, the other day I did an episode on the block with Jen. Should we separate from degeneracy? Should we separate the people that are not into that and promoting death amongst us and in our community who don't celebrate that type of hip hop or rap? Should we separate from that? Is that, would that be conducive to our survival? The ones that aren't degenerates, quote unquote, right? Should we separate? So, Cardi B clapped back and said, well, basically the joke we always tell white people, well, y'all, she said, y'all fucking each other or fucking animals or something, and y'all do mass shootings, but you don't do music about that, but you do that anyway. I thought the clapback was weak. It's an old joke, you know how I did it the other day. I told No Saint, you know what I mean, if I want to know about bestiality, I'll hit you up. He's a white guy. I made that joke. So I thought Cardi B's clapback was weak, and there's why I thought it was weak is because white people can do mass shootings, and white people could fuck animals or not. You know what I mean? It's an old joke that we have about white people. However, our culture is very well known to promote, to celebrate, right? Killing each other, right? Killing each other, right? There's no other culture on the planet. There's no other music genre on planet Earth that promotes the death of our brothers and sisters, the prostitution of our brothers and sisters, the exploitation of our brothers and sisters, our melanated brothers and sisters, like hip hop and rap, right? So the pink neck, she called, and I thought that was funny. Cardi B called her a pink neck. I thought that shit was fucking funny. But the rest was weak. It was lame, right? You can't clap at someone about your degeneracy by saying, oh, you're a pink neck, right? Because when you look at it, what Nicole Arbor did make sense. The white girl made sense. She was like, you just came from a funeral, Takeoff's funeral, right? That was inner city violence. It was black on black violence, however you want to put it. And here you are today promoting some dude talk about death and destruction, holding a gun in the video. So the pink neck had a point, whether we like the messenger or not. And let me say this. We're in our community, it's very hypersensitive. I think that because of slavery, because of oppression, because of systemic oppression, I think some people think it's a pass for their degeneracy. That's why you notice whenever something is brought up that happens in our community, the retort is usually, but white people, right? But what about Weinstein? The whataboutisms, just all over the place. But what about Woody Allen? What about whites? It doesn't matter what a black or brown person is accused of doing. You best believe the retort is going to be its white counterpart, right? Never mind, white people are on top of the world, so they can fuck off. They can fuck animals. The cousins can make babies. Like there's a lot of shit that white people can do that don't affect their community, right? The way it affects our community when we fuck up, right? When we celebrate killing each other, when we celebrate our women being prostitutes and hoes and twerking and selling ass. And that doesn't affect, like white people could do that all day, and they don't even do that. But it wouldn't affect them. So we sound stupid saying, but white people do mass shootings. I mean, the guy that did a mass shooting the other day was black, right? Not all mass shooters are white. Some of them are Latino, right? So I thought that clap back by Cardi B was whack. And I'm going to get into that mañana. I just wanted to put it on the burner and let it simmer and let you know that tomorrow I'm going to do a whole show about that shit. Because I want to talk about the pink neck. I want to talk about what she said. I want to talk about how we view, white people. I don't think that what Nicole Arbor said was a lie. It's just that automatically she's white. So we like, hey, you do not speak here. Remember in Avatar when Sute told the white guy, Jake Sully, you do not speak here. So that's usually how we view white people. Like, you don't talk about us. You don't know nothing about us. But then there's another faction where it's like, a certain group of people don't want anybody to talk about them, regardless of their white, Latin, black. They don't even like black people talking about black degeneracy. So it's not about your Latin or your light skin or your preference. They don't want anybody saying anything. They don't want to be held accountable for shit. They feel like they're beyond reproach. There is that demographic of people that it's like, no, we can sell pussy and we could kill each other and we could sing about killing each other and rap about prostituting our women and walk our women on dog leashes into the Grammys, and no one's supposed to say anything. Not even black people supposed to say anything about other black people, right? That's the culture. That's our culture. So I want to get into that, Yana. I want to get into this topic today. Do women have more frenemies than men do? Specifically because of Shanquella Robinson. I'm going to drop the link early. I'm hoping Miss Polly is here because this show tonight was her idea. So, and I want to get into this because there are a lot of, there's so many layers to the Shanquella Robinson murder, right? The friends were there. There were some guys there. Someone was FaceTiming her murder. Another person was recording her murder. She was naked. She wasn't fighting back. Nobody stopped the fight. Somebody told her, hey, aren't you going to fight back? She was like, no. And even when they heard her say no, they let this woman keep beating on her. Another thing that was interesting to me was that I think she's white, Winter Donovan. She was also on that girls trip. She recently did some commentary on Instagram, and she's trying to kind of like, absolve herself, like, hey, I was there, but I didn't have nothing to do with it. I wasn't on the video fighting, because the rumor is that Winter Donovan also hit Shanquella. But according to Winter Donovan, she was like, I was there, but I didn't hit nobody. You don't see me on the video. And she said something I found interesting. She said, listen, if friends fight, if I'm fighting my friend, right, then if I have an issue with her, then we're going to fight it out. And then that's going to be it. And I was like, that sounds to me like the topic tonight, a fucking frenemy. If you put hands on me and you're my friend, or I have to put hands on you and you're my friend, that's the day it ends for me. That's the day it ends. Our friendship ends. But I found it interesting that she said it so normally. Like, if I got an issue with my friend, we gonna fight it out. I'm like, yeah, no. Once we come to blows, I'm done with you, right? If it went there, then obviously it was bad enough to where I wanted to hurt you, or you wanted to hurt me. I don't see how I could come back from that. Interestingly enough, I've asked a couple guys, would they fight their boy and then make up? And I've heard that from guys, like, nah, I'll fight my dude and make up with him. So I want to explore, is the dynamic different, right? Can women be frenemies better than men can be? Or can men be frenemies better than women can be? Because apparently men say they could, come to blows and knock each other out, and the next day be at the game. Is it that way for women? Here's a question. Who was the frenemy? Was the frenemy Shanquella, or was the frenemy the girl that beat on her? Because according to Winter Donovan, her words, not mine, she said that the girl beat on her because Shanquella did some dumb shit the night before while she was drunk. So I find that interesting. What did Shanquella do while she was drunk that made the other girl want to beat on her? And don't misconstrue what I'm fucking saying. Do not come in the chat talking about, are you blaming her? I'm not blaming her. I am exploring who was the frenemy. Who did what? We don't know yet. We don't have all the evidence. We're going to know like in 2 years when Dateline or 2020 or Discovery ID, has all the details, and they do the reenactment, and they have all the phone calls and the text messages, and the court case is over. Then we'll know everything that happened. But right now, all of this is speculation. All of it is hearsay. I saw a fight, and I'm wondering where it began. According to Winter Donovan, Shanquella was in bed. The girl wanted to fight her. Shanquella said, I don't want to fight. The girl pulled Shanquella out of bed naked. That much we know. That much we know. So what happened the night before that made that girl want to beat on Shanquella? Who was the one that was full of shit in that situation? Or were they all full of shit? And were they frenemies? Were they them girls that hang out, but they throw shade at each other every now and then because they don't like each other all the way, but like each other enough to hang out and go on trips and what have you, et cetera, et cetera. Let's explore this shit. I'm really, really curious what you guys have to say. And I'm curious to hear from men as well. How do you handle frenemies? How do you handle that shady dude in the group? And you know the dudes be running around with dudes that shade them. How do they handle that? How do they handle that? I'm gonna drop the link, and you guys could come up and have this discussion, because apparently frenemies can turn deadly. Right? Frenemies can turn deadly. This girl's literally gone, right? Because her friend beat her to death. And I think that's interesting. Not a stranger, okay? Not a boyfriend. Her friend beat her to death. And we can say, well, that's not a real friend, but friend enough to say, I'm gonna hang out with you out of the country in the same hotel. So that's friend enough, right? That's friend enough. And then there's another video that was released where Shanquella is walking around the hotel and she has her phone out. She's like, hey, where you hoes at? Where you bitches at? It don't take that long to get naked, because apparently they were going to go to the pool. Now that video is out. That's fact. That's not hearsay. There is a video of Shanquella where she's looking for the crew. And what I found interesting in that dynamic was that the crew, they were all in one room, right? Shanquella was not in that room. She was walking around the hotel looking for the rest of the group. Now, the rest of the group was in one room. So why wasn't Shanquella in there, in that room with them? So even when you watch the video, it kind of looked like she's on the outs already. And we've all been in that situation where it's like we're talking about somebody and then they walk in the room, or vice versa. We walk in a room where people were talking about us and we're like, and the air feels kind of funny. So in the video, you do see Shanquella looking for the group, and then she walks in the room and then they're all there. And one girl's like on the bed and there's like a guy on the side. And the girl who eventually beat her to death, she's like, oh, I'm just going to wear this. I'm not going to wear, she's talking about she's going to wear a regular bathing suit. She's not going to wear anything fancy. But I thought that was strange that she wasn't with the group already. So what happened that night? That is what we don't know. What did Shanquella do when she was allegedly drunk that had another woman pull her out of the bed and want to fight her? What is this frenemy shit? What is it? Why do we do it? I don't like it. I distance myself very quickly. I told you guys a story before of a friend that I had. And we were great friends until we got a little older. And we would go out and she would make snide remarks in front of people. And it didn't feel friendly anymore. It didn't feel like roasting. It didn't feel like jokes. Like me and my friends, we joke on each other all the time about our ethnicity, about our hair, about our height, about our clothes, about our makeup. We have jokes, right? And we know when the jokes are amongst friends. But when I was hanging out with that particular girl, even though we'd known each other like 2 decades, the jokes didn't feel like jokes. They felt kind of like they had this like tone to them. And I was like, I don't know about that. Like, oh, Jen always blah, blah, blah. Well, if Jen said it, then y'all would have. And I was like, oh, yeah, that doesn't feel friendly. No, I think this is where we end, right? Because you don't want to come to blows, over a friendship or a misunderstanding. And everybody's not meant to travel your entire journey with you. A lot of people think that. They think that about relationships. They think that about friendships. Fuck, people think that about siblings and relatives. And everybody's not supposed to be on your journey. Some people are stages and phases. Some people are here to teach you some shit. Some people are even romantic relationships. Like some people just here to teach you some shit and make you better and make sure that, you're valuing yourself and your time. But some people think differently. Nope. If I've known you since grade school, we got to be friends forever. Nope. If I marry you, it's forever. Nope. I'm your sister. I'm your blood. So no matter what, you got to put up with me because we came out the same womb. No, I'm your brother. We're blood. And we've heard who killed Marvin Gaye? Right? Sometimes family is no good. Sometimes friends are no good. And when do we get rid of people? Is Shanquella Robinson dead because she didn't get away from certain people. Now, rumor has it, this is speculation. This I do not know because I don't know any of these people personally. But the rumors were from Shanquella's side that Shanquella was doing really, really well. She had her businesses. She liked dressing really, really nice. She liked designer stuff. And allegedly, supposedly, her friends weren't at that level. So did they feel away like, oh, here come the cute fucking Shanquella and her designer shit with her business, with her little business that she's running on? Did they feel away? And do we outgrow friends? Do we outgrow our friends, right? That also can be a problem when you outgrow a friend. I know I've outgrown friends. The conversations weren't the same. My head was somewhere else, and they're still talking about shit that happened when we were 16, 17. And I'm like, I'm not even thinking about that, and I'm not there. I'm over here. Should we hold on to people that we outgrow for pity or guilt, right? Because we don't like leaving people behind, or is it best? Is it in our best interest to get the fuck on with our lives so we can grow and explore? It's a whole big world out here, so we can grow, right? I remember my dad told me one time I was in a romantic relationship and I couldn't let go. I couldn't let go. I couldn't let go. And my dad is a man of very little words. Very little words. He is action, 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 action. That is my dad. No matter what it was, he's action, action, action. So he's a man of very little words. So when he stops to talk, you have to listen, right? So one night he was driving me home. He was like, hey, I was at my mom's house, and he was like, I'm gonna drive you home. And I was like, okay, cool. So pull up to my spot. He parks. He said, I'm gonna tell you this. And I was like, uh-oh, right? Because my dad doesn't, I'm a man of very little words. He was like, I see your situation. And I never talked to him about my personal shit, right? My dad's not that guy. He was like, I see your situation, and I'm gonna tell you this. The sooner you let go of something that's not meant for you, and he said it in a much deeper voice, of course. He said, the sooner you let go of something that is not meant for you, the sooner what's meant for you will come into your life. And that's all I'm going to tell you. And I was like, do you know that after my father said that, I let that relationship go? And I'm sure we've heard that before from other people, but the way my father gave me that information that night, I was like, oh my God, for some reason it just fucking clicked. And I'm like, he is so right. The longer I hang on to this thing that's making me miserable, the longer it's going to be for me suffering in this relationship that was dead end. The relationship was dead end already. So I'm like, the longer I entertain this shit, the longer my happiness is gonna be, the longer is gonna take for me to feel happy again and at peace. And that doesn't necessarily mean with another person. That just means away from this, away from this. So, you know, there comes a time where we have to look at these friends and be like, I don't like how you said that. What did you mean exactly? Or why every time we go out, you're saying things against me, right? And I'm a very communicative person. You know why I'm a very communicative person? Because when I dead you, you're dead, right? So I want to make sure that I tried everything I could, right, before I dead you, because I don't go back. Like my, you know, people say my fallback game is strong. No, my deading game is strong. And I want to make sure that I gave the person the opportunity to communicate, and I want to communicate. And I've grown, okay? I wasn't like this in my 20s, all right? It took a while for me to get here, but whenever I'm in a group of women or in a group of men or working a new situation with a team, right? I always say, no matter what you hear, this is me, and a couple people can vouch, no matter what you hear that I said or I think about you, please come ask me. I implore you, because whatever I think, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say I said it, right? You don't, people don't have to go behind my back like, well, Jen said about you. You can come as Jen, because I'm feeling something and I told somebody else. I'll tell you, yeah, I said it because this is what I was thinking about you at the time. And then we can have a conversation. We can have a conversation after that, right? I'd be like, yeah, I said that because this is how I was feeling at the time, or this is how I gauge the situation. And then we can talk it out. But I always say, come to me. I make myself available to people I communicate with. Come to me, call me, slide in my DMs, hit me in the comment low. I want to talk to you right quick, right? And I will let you know, right? Because once I'm done with you, I'm done with you, right? So if I find out that, oh, you're talking some shit or you did some shit, and I'm like, wait, I told this, but that's different. If you never tell the person, the door is open. If you ever have an issue with me, the door is open. It's different if you never told that person that. And most people, they're so used to like talking behind other people's backs or feeling away and not communicating, that they're so used to that they find it strange that somebody will say, hey, if you ever feel anything sideways about me. This is great from romantic relationships too, because resentment grows in romantic relationships. Why? Because we hold on to shit and we wait till that argument. And then we're like, ooh, I'm gonna fucking tell him and a matter of fact, a month ago, when you was at that fucking party and you told that bitch, that is what humans do. Men do the same thing. Men can see a text in your phone. Men can see an email. They won't say zippity nada. And when that argument comes out, yeah, you and that motherfucker. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. That was 3 months ago. But humans, although they say, I communicate, I say what's on my mind, right? Don't we love saying that shit? I tell it like it is, okay? Yo no tengo pelo en la lengua. I'm going to say whatever I want. It sounds so fucking good, don't it? Seldom done. What people do is they go talk to other people about they feel about you. All right? Sounds good. I'm going to say it like I said what I said. But did you say it to me? Did you say it to the person that you're feeling it about? Adults seldom do that. Seldom. So I leave the door open, right? That way, when I find out you did some foul shit, I just go back. Wait a minute. I told this motherfucker to come to me. If they hear something or feel something, if you see something, say something. Like in New York on the subway. If you see something, say something, right? So do these groups of friends, do they practice that? Or were they talking about Shanquella behind her back? Like, oh, if she say the wrong thing to me on this trip, it's going to be on and popping. Was there a covert contract going on that Shanquella had no idea of? Right? Or vice versa. Like, what happened the night before to make this woman want to pull her out of that bed and fight her naked? I couldn't fight someone that's naked unless it's for my life. So that was serious. Could you put your hands on somebody that's naked and is not fighting you back? I could not. I'd be, I put some clothes on or something. I mean, cops don't even want to arrest you if you're naked. So that was bold. I see Lily in the back. I gotta get my baby up here.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Okay, perfect. You know what? Oh, I just realized, like, my screen doesn't look as cool as yours because I haven't turned her, like, is it vertical? That's vertical. I haven't turned it vertical. So anyway,
I was about to say, well, your resolution better than mine because I got a 720. I don't care.
Are you using your laptop when you go live? Because I think you got to use your laptop, right?
Yeah, I'm using the laptop, and everybody's like, "You got a 720." I'm like, I don't care about me a camera.
Right. It's just that simple. So I got to be up early tomorrow, so I don't have like a long time, but I just want to participate more. You know how much I love you. I don't have to go into that diatribe, but I definitely want to come up on this particular topic, and I'm going to try to come up tomorrow for what you have, because I heard what you said you're going to talk about. The frenemy thing has always been real deep to me, right? Because for me, I've always had really good discernment. Okay. I've been a person that has really good discernment. At the same time, just like everyone else, I've gone through experiences with fake friends and, wanting people to be my friend. Yeah. Have you ever met like someone, because there's somebody I'm thinking about in my head right now, but have you ever met someone that on paper, you're supposed to be cool?
Yes.
on paper you think you're compatible, and this like we like, oh my god, we would be like the coolest, and then you try to, and it's just not organic. It's like you're trying too hard to make that connection work. So these are all things that come with age and listening to elders, and that's something that I pride myself on. Uh-oh, where did Jen go? Okay, I guess I'm gonna have, that's something that I pride myself on, is to listen to people who have been living longer than me. Right? You was able to hear what I was saying? Yes, I listen to people who've been living longer than me. And what I notice about a couple of things I notice about this generation now, especially more than anyone, is, I mean, with, and then like our generation, is that a few things. First of all, we know we didn't listen to our elders as much as we should have, but we listened. Some things seeped in, but it's something about this particular generation that does, they want nothing to do with us and our information. And so I don't, and you saw the post that I put up a couple weeks ago when I said, damn, like our youth doesn't really have a lot to look up to. Because if you look on social media, we're being monetized to act like dumb fools. You know, so a lot of people are jumping on that bandwagon for that easy money, including people our age, the 40s and ups, right? So I'm like, and that's being pushed through the algorithm, you know, more so than anything educational, uplifting, and all of that other inspiring stuff. Like that's what's being pushed through the algorithm. And so you have that, you have the reality shows. And so what you're seeing is a world or a culture full of people being incentivized for acting like idiots. And so I would just, that's what made me stop watching reality TV, because I'm like, this is just not, I can't relate to all of this fighting and then y'all going to dinner and then fighting again. Like they have normalized that on television, especially.
That's a great point. That's a great point, because reality shows are a big frenemy fiasco.
Yes. They've normalized it. And you know, at first, you know, looking at it from a standpoint, I look at it as entertainment. I know what it is. I know you know, you and I are in the business. So we know what it's like. They get a call sheet, they show up on set, and they film. Okay. This is a day, this is a film day for them. This is, you know, all of that for them. This is a job for them. Most of them do not even hang out or whatever, never hang out with each other, with each other outside of that show. So, but then when I look at people who are younger to watch things like this, they just don't have the ability to separate reality from entertainment. And they try to emulate this. So they really think that that's normal. The other thing I heard a lot about too, I don't know if you mentioned this, but with Shanquella in general, and just with this younger generation, a lot of them base their friendships on clout and followers.
Okay.
A lot of these new age friendships are based on like, oh, she popping, you popping, I'm trying to pop a little bit more, so let's get together so we can walk up in the club and look cute. And because you know, when they get to the club, this is what they're gonna do. Then they're gonna go live and go, yeah, hey, come on. Yeah, look at us. As soon as they turn,
right.
So it's really interesting. I've been really looking at, because I try not to judge young people, because I was young and dumb, and so I try to ask them questions and get into their brain and see what they're thinking, with their generation. And my assistant, she's 17. My youngest brother, who came to visit me last week, is 17. Yes, he's way younger than me. My dad's busy.
I was like, wait a minute.
He's busy. Yeah, he's busy. And then you have my cousin, she's 25. She came to stay with me for a month. And so I'm around youth, and then I mentor a lot of young people, and I talk to them. It's something scary that a lot of them have said to me.
Your sound is scratchy, Lily.
It is.
Yeah. Hi, Miss
Mm,
Callie.
maybe I have to go out and come back.
Try it because I want to make sure everyone hears you clearly. It's like it's staticky.
Okay. I will be right back.
Thank you. That me, guys. Chat. Let me know, chat, if
Yes.
Lily was staticky. Was it staticky?
Yeah, no, it was a little bit. I thought it was maybe my connection.
Oh, okay. Miss Polly, well, we here today because of you, doll.
Yes. Oh yes. Yes indeed. I was definitely like, yeah, this is a good, I think that's what, we've been talking about. Kind of I keep seeing a lot of people like, a lot of podcasts and things like that discuss the case. A lot of people are following it. And I just kept hearing, these things about kind of like, the friendship. And I was like, okay, it's horrible her friends are like that. And then I thought about it deeper, like I had told you earlier, like there's so many cases and people actually make money off this. I mean, what the hell is Basketball Wives? What is that, Atlanta? Whatever. I don't really watch too much reality shows, but they're all based on people being frenemies. And now those same relationships that everyone was laughing and cheering about, like, oh, I like how she gets sassy, or she doesn't really like to go to these parties with that girl. So watch going to be drama. And then now the drama has turned into a real life, you know, altercation where someone's died. That to me is real realistic. I worry about, my girls when they grow up. Is that what they're going to have to deal with if they don't pay attention to the signs of someone trying to actually harm them, people trying to get close to them, not to because they like them, but to hurt them? That's your whole goal, is to actually hurt someone. And you don't see it. You just think they're being nice sometimes when we're hanging out with the boys sometimes. But when when it starts to get into a point where you're like hanging out and with this so-called friend, and they're probably like making comments like, oh, you look really nice tonight, and then you go out and then a guy gives you a compliment and they're like, oh, you look so trashy. How are you trashy 1 minute? And it's this weird place to be in, and emotionally I think it's traumatizing for girls and guys when it happens to them, but mostly the girls. So that's why I kind of brought it up. I'm like, this is stuff you see every day. Now it's gone too far. We should really bring the light on these people. Really, like you just said earlier, we're publicizing people battling each other. You see, what's your name? We're gonna fight on that show tomorrow tonight. Why are we watching altercations like they're fun shows? This is not a boxing match. I don't want to see two black women fighting over the same man, fighting over who said something else. That's not positive, That doesn't look good. I don't want my daughters to think that's the kind of relationships that they are going to go in the world in, and that's normal. That's not. That's not normal. So that's where I kind of brought it up, because I was like, that's crazy. It went that far.
To piggyback about what both of you said, I didn't make that connection, but you're absolutely correct. Like, reality show normalized frenemies. So the girls in real life, they think it's cute to hang out with somebody you don't really like because you'll have some beef, to promote later on Instagram, or you'll have a subject to talk about. Like, if there's nothing else, like an idle mind, what they say about an idle mind. So it's like, if you don't have anything else going on, that beef is something to talk about. Girl, that beef is something to talk about. Let me tell you what she said. Let me tell you who just texted me. Let me tell you. And with reality shows, if you notice, they always sell an episode with that fight at the end. You notice that? They're like, on the next episode, and then you see people swinging at each other and drinks getting thrown. You're like, ooh, I want to see that fight. And then we fucking tune in. But I'm with Lily. I don't watch reality shows like I used to, because it wore on me. I was like, it's the same shit.
It's the same show.
Yeah, they're using the same formula, no matter if it's Housewives of Atlanta, Housewives of New York, Housewives of Atlanta, Housewives of Dubai. It's always the same formula. Let's meet at this restaurant, talk about how those two were acting yesterday. And then, the next meeting comes up and these two know about that beef, and then drinks get to flying. Thank you for the super chat. Haran says, shout out to my hitter. Great topic, much needed. I'm falling back and treating this as ladies' night, interested in hearing the takes. But I did want the fellas to come up and talk about shady dudes in their crew and how they deal with it, because I don't think y'all throw drinks at each other.
And that's the thing. I like the way you I'm glad you brought that up. Can you hear me? Am I scratchy?
No, you're good.
I'm glad you brought that up because women do, how can I put it? Frenemies, I guess we're going to use that. Frenemies for women versus men do look different, right? Men can be fighted out and actually get over it and be cool. Is it healthy? No, but they have the ability to do that. I've seen it a lot. Like men will even fight over a woman, you know, and then later on down the line, they're back cool again. Women typically aren't able to do that once fists start flying. I mean, but then you add on, but then I'm see, but it's weird. I'm going through this weird place because I'm recognizing that we live in a completely different world than the world that I grew up in, than the world pre-social media. So I have to look at it from two standpoints. That's the standpoint from the world, the old world. New world after social media does look like it's normal to do that, to fight and then be friends again next week and talk about everybody and all of this other stuff. Case in point, if you look at Zeus Network, for instance.
Oh, go on. If I don't know Zeus Network.
But you know, it's crazy because look at the reaction you had. That's the reaction I have when I think of Zeus Network, right? And anyone who's aware of Zeus Network, I'm pretty sure that'll be the reaction, right? But have you ever gone on the app to see? Because, you know, I'm not going to pay for anything. Okay, but I wasn't paying for it. But I had access to the app. You would be surprised how much programming is actually on there.
Really?
There's way more programming on there than just the shows that are pushed to us with the fighting, the Bad Boys and Bobby Lights and all that other stuff. But the only thing that's being pushed and popularized is the shows, the ratchetness, right? Which is making our culture look very monolithic. Like it, and the thing is, I'm okay with the ratchet. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the toxic TV, but let's have some balance. Let's have some type of, I don't see any balance anymore. I don't see any balance like in mainstream or popular culture when they're portraying our culture. It's always just toxic, and it's like we're made to have to like not like the younger people. I'm always thinking about them because with us we kind of get it, we know the difference, but with them it's hard for them to be able to tell the difference, and I'm really concerned with what's going on with our youth right now.
Yeah, that's and they questioned him about it. They questioned I know they questioned Jay Alexander from Fubu. He started Forest Bias Networks. They questioned I forgot his name, Lemuel, I think it's Lemuel Plummer, the owner of Zeus Network. So they did question these guys like, look, as a Black man, you're starting these networks and you're promoting nothing but the same BS, right? Because back in the day, I spoke about this before, where a lot of people are saying that where the white man portrays us, the white man portrays us, the white man pushes, but there are a lot of us volunteering. They're volunteering, getting paid to do so. And I made a statement nobody believed. I said, if Black and brown people are put in the same position, they will use the same tactics to make money. And do we not see it happening?
Yes.
Do we not see it happening? Because it's easy to make white people the enemy when we're not in a position of power. Once we're in a position of power, sit back and watch and see what we promote when we're in power. So it's an interesting dynamic, but you know, they justify it as that's what people want to see.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I won't agree with that because we come from a place where we had balance. We had all of that. So we had choices. And this actually is a rabbit hole that kind of goes deep, right? Because I do a lot of studying of social media and things like that and algorithms. I have to because for the most part I do my own marketing, right? I do have help, but I've been doing my own marketing since I started this whole situation. And unfortunately with Black and brown people, I'm trying to figure out how far to take this without losing people. Okay, so and you can study this for yourself. And don't say Lily said, or that's some BS. Before you say it's some BS, go study it for yourself. But the algorithms are literally set where, okay, perfect example. They have programmers. Who are these programmers? There's some lily white guy in Silicon Valley, okay? And when these programmers program, like there's really, I don't know of any programmers that look like us. I'm pretty sure there are, but I don't never see them. So the majority of the programmers are lily white people who are totally out of touch with our culture. Okay. So when they set these algorithms are also set with their biases as well. Whether it's not maliciously done properly, but their biases are there. Okay.
Of course.
Same way is it's the same thing as like when you go to wash your hands and stuff like that, and they have you put your hand under the thing, and if you're a certain complexion, the thing doesn't detect your I be thinking that the sink is broke or the soap is broke. It's not broke. It just doesn't detect your skin color. A lot of people
really
know that. Yes, because they're not thinking about your skin color. They're not thinking about you. They don't
How do you know that?
They don't know anyone like you. So it's the same way in Silicon Valley. Like we need more Black and brown people to go after these tech jobs and these programming jobs, because that's why we're being left out of the algorithms, and that's why the algorithms are not in our favor. Okay. So so the algorithms are literally set, like it picks up on your skin tone, your facial features, if they're very ethnic and things like that. And so for darker people or melanated people, the only way they like really push you through the algorithms is if it's something divisive, which sometimes I have to troll and do some divisive stuff, because you know what I'm saying? Like I gotta get these numbers up. So let me do something with devices real quick. Right. I just know it's a formula. It's an easy formula. That's what Kevin Samuels did. It's easy, right? And so, I'll put out something like about homophobia, because I know the homophobe is going to come. I need you to come because I need to get these numbers up, okay? I need you to come and call me every name in the fucking book. Bring your friends, and then my people are going to fight it out with you, and the algorithm is going to go up. So It's the formula. But see, we know what we're doing. We know we're trolling. We're going to do it real quick, get these numbers up, and then once we get them there, we're going to feed them. We're going to educate them. We're going to give them some real food. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I don't know. It's deep.
Damien and Annalisa, welcome to the panel. Is this sound off or am I bugging out?
I thought it was, thank God. I thought it was my connection. No, I can hear it.
There's something crackling.
I can hear it. I think that's Lily's mic.
You want me to come out and come back in?
I don't think it's you. Let's see.
Lily, I was going to ask you, is your volume up too high, possibly?
I was on mute. I just came off mute, and it stopped, but I was on mute. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's staticky. For some reason, it's staticky.
Yeah, it's your mic.
Yeah, it's definitely my mic. Let me see something.
And I desperately want everyone to hear you. It's like scratchy. I don't know what it is.
Hey. I'll try my other phone. That's why I keep another phone.
Please.
For these shenanigans. I'll be right back.
All right. Thank you. I want everybody to be heard tonight. Hey guys, how are ya?
What's up?
Hello.
I'm glad I got some nuts on the panel, because I want to hear from the men's side too, because I know y'all got shady dudes in the crew. I know y'all do.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. And Alicia, hi mama, how are you?
Hi baby, I'm good. How are you?
I'm really, really good. I wanted to talk about this. I touched on it a little bit on another show, but Miss Polly did, DM'd me. I love suggestions because sometimes I have a hard time coming up with topics. And I was like, no, this deserves a whole stream. I mean, we saw someone get murdered by a friend. And we can say, well, that wasn't really her friend. Friend enough to have numbers, friends enough to hang out, friends enough to go on vacation together, friends enough to talk about what are we going to wear to the pool. So there was some sort of friendship. This wasn't a stranger. So what do you think, Annalicia?
I think it's really sad, and it's heartbreaking, because I remember I was having a conversation on Themis's channel and we were kind of talking about what it means to be on code or what it means to empower each other. And Black women they're so far from that. It's actually heartbreaking. And to me, her death is another example of Black women just not being protected and Black women not protecting each other. I definitely believe that, of course, women have more frenemies than men. I don't even know if men truly, like, I think we would have to kind of define what friendship means for men versus women, because there's a dichotomy there, right? Like, I think that friendship for men and women is different, and therefore it doesn't it doesn't open the floodgates for frenemies to really be a thing. I feel like, as a general matter, I think men and friendships, at least in my mind, they seem more superficial and topical and, sort of like not too serious. You watch the game, how's the wife, how's the kids? Women, our relationships and our friendships tend to be more interpersonally intimate. And, the more someone knows about you, the more they can potentially hurt you, and the more harm, the more you're at risk for harm potentially. So yeah, in terms of the question of the stream tonight, women absolutely have, in particular, she definitely had people who were not looking out for her best interest, and they were her. I wouldn't even say frenemies. I would just say that's an enemy. If you kill that, you are my mortal enemy, is what the fuck you are.
I want to say, Tawana G, come up, mama, come up. We haven't seen you in so long.
Hi,
Damien,
Tawana.
You see Tawana laying in the cut. Damien, I wanted to ask you something, because in doing my little research, I asked a man a couple questions. I'm like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? He said the difference between men and women, and everybody has their own individual experience, but he said the difference between men and women is this: like, men, there could be the for lack of a better term, let's just say the alpha, the guy with all the looks and all the money, and he's that guy. He was saying that the other men, the yes men or the entourage, they don't mind that they're hanging with that guy, because they'll take whatever crumbs falls off of him. He said he thinks the difference with women is that women, when they hang out with the girl that has everything, or the two girls that have everything, they want it. They feel like she's competition. They want that shit. They're not happy with just hanging out and taking the crumbs. They want that good man she got. They want them shoes, or they want that bag. They want to be able to afford that bag. What would you say is the difference, and how do you deal with the quote unquote frenemy or the shady?
Yeah. Your friend was right on. I think guys will like deal with the situation if the guy that's perceived as shady provides some type of utility. Like if he has the hookup at the club, or he's like you said, he's good looking and he attracts women, or he has money or something like that. If he provides some type of utility, they will put up with to a degree. And they don't necessarily have to be like, he doesn't have to be the alpha. He just has to be the useful guy, because everybody could be on the same level. And because, I've hung around with cats back in the day who I knew were snakes, but I knew he was a snake. Like I said, I could always count, I won't say his name, let's just call him D. I could always count on D to be D. So I knew how to avoid getting caught up in his bullshit.
I hate men right now, because he said the same thing verbatim. And I'm like, what? If I don't like you, I don't like you. I don't care if you can get me in the club. He was like, men don't do that. We don't give a fuck. I was like, oh, yeah.
I mean, seriously, because it's all about utility. It's just like, how useful are you for whatever I'm trying to do, and you will put up with the asshole because, there's many movies where you see examples of that, where the cat is like the hater cat, but they're like, why would you kick it with the hater cat? Because the hater cat has that gives you access to something you probably couldn't do on your own or what have you. And I've seen that many a times or what have you. I feel like the smart ones do exactly like your boy said, can recognize them, like, how they say skunks got a skunk. They can recognize that and try to like avoid like the bullshit or what have you. And then that person knows that they can't really run game, or you ain't the one or what have you. But and every now and then they'll try some sneak shit. Like the cat that I call D. I remember, like, I decided not to go out and hang out with him for a couple of weekends or whatever. And I found out that he slid my ex-wife his business card talking about, hey, because he always had like the after parties at his house. Like, come to you and your girls can come kick it, because she used to hang out with these two twins. And she's like, yeah, you and the girls. And then she called me. I was like, why'd your boy just give me his business card? And I called him. I was like, dude, why did you give her his business card? He was like, oh, I was trying to give it to the twins. I was like, dude, I know what you did. It's like, so you know what's up, and I know you know what's up. So you pull that shit again, it's gonna be a different conversation. And but still, but what I ended up doing was just like knocking one of his chicks. So it was just like, so to get back, but still, I just had to we put it out there. Like, I think like Ron said in like a chat, we let it be known that if you want to go there, we can go there, but let's just keep it on a friendly basis. You can do the sneak shit, like, if a girl is into me, because like a lot of dudes have what's called mimetic attraction. So that what it means is, if you find somebody of a higher status is liking somebody, you automatically gotta like them, or you automatically gotta get them. I think that happens a lot in male friendships or what have you. They think, oh my God, that chick is the shit. He like her. I feel he's kind of a higher status than me, so I gotta try to get her before him to like prove I'm at his level. So you get a lot of that shit going on.
Mimetic attraction?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Haran, what say you?
Pretty much.
When is it too much? When is the shady guy too much? What's the deal breaker then?
Hold on, Jen, before I forget, because I just realized I'm not gonna be able to stay. I wanted to say before Haran goes, that I read something in the chat, so I want to clear something up. When I said that men don't have frenemies, it's either you're cool or I'm like, I'll put you in a casket. So that was my position. Women are a little bit more insidious in terms of where they are in their friendships with other women. It sounds like, based on what White Hat said, it sounds like men are very exploitative, and they will, if you serve a purpose, or if you have utility, and all humans are exploitative to a degree, but maybe men might have a higher propensity. I don't know. But just to clear up what I said earlier, I don't think that men have frenemies. I think it's either I'll put you in a grave, or we're cool. And then even then, like, guys can be playing basketball and it could end with somebody getting like toe tagged or something. Like, so with men, it's different, because he said that like men run around the hood, they kill each other. Yeah, I agree. They hate each other. I agree. You hate people, but you kill people that you hate, realistically. Women, in the ways that they engage and interact with each other, it's a little bit more insidious. It's not as easy to, and I actually kind of disagree with Damien. Me as a woman, I have absolutely, and all the women that I know, and it's probably the reason that we're able to have friendships that are long lasting. We absolutely will shoulder check each other, and anybody, if we ever have a problem with anything or anyone, we are assertive, we are communicative, and we're very vocal about addressing whatever problems there may be. So I don't want that to be like a general rule or a schism between like men and women. Women are absolutely assertive, and in most cases, women are better than men in communication. And I think that's statistically been observed as well.
Interesting.
Can I speak on this?
Yes, Haran.
Well, from my perspective, I agree with a number of things that Damien said, but I think there's a lot of misconstrued ideas about just how deep friendships and brotherhoods amongst men can actually go. And I'll speak from my perspective. Growing up, men, we compartmentalize. That guy's an associate, that guy's cool, that guy's your brother. Now, in terms of those that I call my brother, this individual could be like, their family knows my family. We have actual information on each other. We've been in actual, situations with each other. that were life and death, and we actually saved each other's lives, like actual wars. You know what I mean? Things that, you know what I mean, other people, you know what I mean, have yet to ever experience. Now, if it's a good, we're just cool with, yeah, you know, it's, you know, or whatever, someone on a superficial level, yeah, you know, we run to the club with the dude, blah, blah, blah. We have no expectations really. Both sides, there's an undisclosed understanding that we have no real expectations from each other. We're going to the club, we're doing whatever we do, blah, blah, blah. You go home, I go home. Now, in terms of the problems and the situations when things happen, it's a bigger hit to you personally, as to say if one you compartmentalize and define as your brother sabotages you or tries to directly hurt you, as opposed to a dude you're just cool with. Now, you know, most likely the one that you call your brother. You know, I've been in situations where, you know, I have approached people, you know what I mean, and had man to man conversations and said that, you know, this can, you know, I've tried to, as a matter of fact, I've a few situations where it's like, look, you and I, we just can't rock like that with each other anymore, because if it goes any further in the midst of this conversation, it might get violent. Now the other people, you know what I mean, you have no, you know, you have no real connection with. Yeah, you know, I've been in situations where I've given people choices like, hey man, I don't really want it to go in that direction, but it can. Do we have an issue? Can we solve this in any other situation? And then, you know, I mean, it is what it is. But to make it sound as if men have just completely superficial, and we have no bonds, and we have no ability to actually bond with each other, I think that's I just think that's erroneous.
Oh, okay. Coming in swinging for the men.
Something that you
We
said,
can't hear you,
Ron,
Dave.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Something that you said, Haran, was right on. In most interactions, maybe not in a family dynamic, but most interaction with men, even if it's not overt, there is an underlying understanding that there is a propensity for violence to happen at any point.
Right.
You could say the wrong thing. You could staple my foot. You could make me feel disrespected or slighted in any way. And there's possible violence that could happen. There's always an understanding with people that you don't consider. Sometimes even family, you can be like that. But like if me and Haran, I think Haran is a dope cat. We go out or whatever. I think we both understand that there is the propensity. It's unsaid. It's just something we know. But we could
Absolutely.
be violent toward each other for some reason. So we try to respect that, and we try to like move in a way to where we don't facilitate that happen or make that happen prematurely or necessarily, you know. So I think there's a difference, because we're just a little bit more men, just because we're just more reactive. We be a little bit more aware of all the situations, and we kind of set the line on what we will and won't uh, deal with. And then, like I said, in those cases where there is a significant utility there, we may deal with a little bit more than what we used to. But we also do set parameters, like this is my line. If you pass that,
Right.
then there's going to be an issue.
So what about this question? And anybody can answer it. When you say a propensity for violence, you know, going back to reality shows, there's lots of violence, lots of violence, and it's amongst the women. So are you saying that men have that more than women do, even though we see women catfighting all day, every day on these shows? Isn't it the same for women too, if they're always fighting each other?
Well, and
No,
this is not said. This is, to me, this is different, and I'm sorry. I'll let Ron jump in there too as well. Is that I think there's a difference between fighting and violence. I think people get those two things. Those two things aren't synonymous. There's people who have
Right.
a real propensity for violence, to do violent acts, and then there's fighting.
Right.
You know, there's like, I'm gonna
Well,
slap you, I'm gonna punch you, I'm gonna punch
I
you,
don't
and then
like
there's
fighting.
violence.
I think now we're kind of like, that's like in violence. I disagree that
Well, I understand.
violence is like a precursor for like aggression. right? So like if you're an aggressive and sort of an externally or overtly aggressive person, you're more likely to be a violent person. Like,
No.
so violence and I don't think there's like violence and violence. I don't think that we need to necessarily categorize it in that way. I think that aggression leads to violence leads to harm, and then there are varying degrees of like harm, but it's still violence.
No, I don't think that's the case, because I've been in situations where, you know, things got a little heated and somebody just shoved somebody. I've also seen people get their face slashed open. Those are two totally different
Right,
situations
now because you're
entirely.
talking about testosterone, right? You're talking about
No, no, no,
testosterone,
no,
which
no, no, no.
changes.
Actually, no. It was a woman who slashed
Nah.
open the face of another woman. You know what I mean? I'm just using an example of extreme violence. You know what I mean? Now, the point here that I'm making, to piggyback off what Dee was saying, like, I completely agree with what he's saying. And to Jen's point, you see, Jen, if you notice, Jen, when I speak to other men, I'm just very,
Violent.
I mean, I choose. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I choose my words very carefully. I choose now. Now that's under the understanding that I expect the same in return. You know what I mean? Now I choose my words very carefully. I'm not overly aggressive with people. I'm just not over the top with people. However, if I feel like there's an issue, if I feel like there's a problem, then I'll kindly ask, like, hey, is there an issue? Is there a problem? And then if it escalates into something else, I have to be prepared for for the chance that, hey, this might really be a problem. This might really be an issue. This might really turn into something. So I have to prepare myself for that, or just leave the premises completely, because I'm not going to hang around a space where I think a dude, has an issue with me, and he might do me something when my back is turned. I'm not trying to be around those kind of environments. So I'd rather nip things in the bud than actually be in situations where we're questioning things. Now, from what my understanding is, when I see these reality TV shows, like, I mean, these women they'll just say whatever the fuck, and they just pop off. Now, as men, we understand that there is a line. If you say something that sounds pretty much like a declaration of war, then it is just what it is. You know what I mean? But we try not to get, to get to that point. At least sensible men. Sensible men. Knuckleheads, they just look for a reason to just do dumb shit.
And
Thank you.
I just want to go
Let me
ahead.
read this chat. I'm about to throw a drink at Fahim. Fahim, shots fired. He said, I honestly don't believe women are real friends. For example, men 55 years old have friends from age 10. How many women truly have 40-year-old girlfriends? Shots fired. He's coming for the ladies. Excuse me.
Sorry, hold on. Let me read this. I honestly don't believe in my girlfriends. Example. In fact, like studies have shown that men do not preserve friendships over the course of their lives. What are you talking about? They're some of the most lonely people on the planet. Like, just because you say it doesn't make it true. So shut the hell up.
I mean, did
I
these
got
people
four
have
friends I know
friends?
since
Is
I
there
was
between?
14.
First of all,
Yeah, there's between
Hey,
people
yo,
have
I
friends. Like,
We gotta let Tawana talk. We gotta
Jen.
let Tawana talk.
listen, I will cam up, but let me tell y'all something. I look crazy. So,
It
and
is
I don't even
They
know
were
where this
fine.
shirt came from. But hey,
Hello, man.
hey, y'all.
We're
What's
Good
all
evening.
mad here. This is like Alice in Wonderland. We're all mad here.
Miss
so,
Anna and Jen? Y'all know I missed y'all. I'm gonna turn my camera off because y'all see I'm in rare form right now.
You're fine. However you
You
want to.
look gorgeous. You look gorgeous.
Thank you.
On camera, off camera, however you feel comfortable.
So, but I just wanted you to know it was me.
Gotta be careful in these streets.
I can't have no damn frenemies and shit on this line. Pretending to be Tawana G, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, they did that to us. They did that to me. There was another On the Block with Jen person.
exactly.
leaving comments on other channels, and people were getting into arguments with the fake me.
That's happened to me, so like for real, and they still use Wanna Chica, but people still think it's me. They're like, "Oh, it's you." I'm like, "No, it's not. I changed your name."
I'm like, you can come argue with the real me.
Listen, they don't. Men, the way they murk each other, how can they be like, "Oh, we real friends"? Like like I know people who were killed by friends of theirs, guys. So I mean, at the end of the day, like, don't value one friendship over the other. And here's the thing with Shanquella's case is that she went to college with those individuals, and I've been on trips with like people who I went to college with, I was cool with. You know, I may have had their numbers, but maybe we didn't have like a deeper friendship than that, right? It was like, okay, you cool, I can hang out with you here and there. And I mean, I actually went to Jamaica with people like that, and I really knew them just from college, like not like we hung out outside of that.
Okay.
So Shanquella had kind of the same situation, except her best friend was really good friends with them. So you know how, you know, you have a friend, like I have friends, and then they have friends. We kind of become friends, where it's like associated through someone else, but not necessarily my direct friend.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of like her friend Donovan. I mean, her friend, the guy, I can't think his name, Khalil. Khalil was really good friends with Winter and Dejanay. So she knew them because of that. So yes, they were friends, but you know, it was a different situation. Like I understand that friendship dynamic if you went to college. Like I understand what, you know people and you may consider them cool. People make it seem like it was like her best friends and like she got stabbed in the back and girls can't be friends, and like a lot of her real friends have stepped up and said, like, if we was on the trip, that never would have happened. You know, like it's been a lot of people who've been like, they knew to take her somewhere where she wasn't surrounded by people who loved her and supported her.
Okay, so then that makes sense why no one got involved. I'm like, people are FaceTiming the fight, people are standing back. I'm like, no, as a friend, you'd be like, come on, y'all. Like, y'all know about the fight. We on vacation. I would think that's what a friend would do. That looked a little wild. It was
for a viral moment because he shared that video with people from North Carolina. After the fight happened, no one knew that Shanquella was going to die. But then after she died, well, I'm sorry, you can't say that on YouTube. After she was murked, then people who he had shared the video
I don't mean
with.
to laugh. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm a little, I'm dramatic. I'm extra. Hey, everybody who don't know me.
Chicago.
After she was murked, then someone was like, "Oh wait, we had this video." So people were like digging through trying to find it because he had shared it with a group of people from North Carolina who all knew her, and it was kind of like it was like supposed to be like a viral, like a funny moment. They was making fun of it, like, yeah, she got her tail whooped, and it was like just that kind of thing. But yeah, so like you said, nobody knows exactly why the fight started.
Right.
Nobody knows. Everybody's speculating, and there's all this stuff that Dejanay and Winter supposedly said, but nobody's telling us what she did that was so foul that you drag her out of bed and beat her while she naked. Like, I don't understand that.
And I think that's the difference between how guys can roll is that we ain't going on no trip without cats we know are rock solid.
Right.
We ain't going. There's no associates, a friend of a friend who might know somebody, whatever. I don't care how useful a person is.
I don't
We do not do that. We especially going out of the country. Oh no!
Let me tell you how many times I've done that.
Rock solid.
Yeah, I've done that so many times where now I'm thinking like, what was I thinking? Just going out of town with people who were cool, not people who I knew for real like that. So, and then you're in a foreign country where a lot of people don't know that you have to pay in order to go to the emergency room, like even if you have insurance, because Mexico will not take our insurance because it takes so long for them to get paid. Sometimes they don't get paid for years. So they're like, it's not worth it to take an American into the emergency room and not, they do all this stuff and may potentially not even get paid for a couple of years. So you have to have cash on you to get service if you go to the emergency room. So that was why when Shanquella they called the doctor, they were like, well, no, we can't take her to the emergency room because they didn't have the $5,000 that it took in order to like put her in the emergency. She would have had to have cash. She would have had to have the $5,000 in order to be taken to the emergency room. She potentially could have lived because she still had a pulse. If you read the report, right, when the doctor came on site, she still had a pulse. So it's just a lot of things like, so you could get into a fight in another country and potentially not be able to go to the hospital if you don't have the cash to pay for it on site. So
I think, Juana, I think that men and women traveling or even just operating in the world as a general matter, I think it's different, right? Yeah. I think women are a much more vulnerable group, and I think it's much more it's more important for women to be militant about the way that they travel or what they do or when they go out and things like that. I don't see that with men as much. I know that everyone's saying, they always make sure they go with their boys that they've known for 100 years and da-da-da. But I think that like, I think that I see it both ways. Like I see guys are much more individualistic minded anyways. Like I see guys kind of go off and they do their own thing because let's be honest, if you're operating in the world as a man, you're probably going to be okay. Right. Unless you're like a retro crip and then you go to like a blood like generally speaking, if you're going out and it's a generally safe area or, there are pockets of crime, as a man, you're more safe than a woman anyways. So yeah, that's probably why it's important to be militant about it.
I don't know, man. I don't know if the cats can attest to this. It's like you go to some places, guys always, especially if there's women around, guys always want to test you. Always step on your foot, bump into you. This is a thing that happens to every man. A dude will bump into you, and in his mind, if he just not like there's polite and good natured cats, but if it's just one of those situations where a hyper masculine situation, he's gonna look at you, and that thing with the Terminator where they kind of scan you and you can see, oh, can I whoop his ass? That's how apologetic he's gonna be. If he thinks I can whoop your ass, he's gonna say, my bad, my fault, maybe. But if he thinks you bumping into some dude and you catch bumping to Mike Tyson, like, my bad, Mike, it's all good, let me buy you a drink, blah blah blah. That's happened. I've had it like both ways where dude has looked at me and been like, looked at me like to see if I was gonna wait to see if I was gonna do something, and I've had it to where dudes have been like, my bad, dog, I spilled your drink, let me get you another drink.
Damien, for clarification, when you say dudes, are you talking like what kind of men are we talking about?
Men with penises.
So you mean white men, black men? So you have the same experience?
Yeah, all men. I was in the military. Most of the cats that it's happened with, I was in Wichita for last time I can really think about it, where it was a situation where I got into like a really big like brawl situation was in Wichita Falls, Texas, when I was in training for the Air Force. And these were white cats, and I was a black dude at a country bar. That's always not the one bar in the town. It was always not a good situation. I had people bumping to me all the time, looking at me sideways, like, what are you doing here? And, that kind of stuff. And they had to sit there. And that's why when I went there, I rode deep with the cats that I know. If something jump off, we all fight and we all got each other back. I didn't just go there with random cats and be like, hopefully if three cats in cowboy hats decide they want to whoop a brother ass, that they gonna jump in, I went there.
So you saying that men?
Situation.
Are you saying men have frenemies as well? Is that the point? Like they have frenemies just as much as women, or
but like I said,
I'm trying to hear your perspective.
Yeah, it's a different thing. Like I said earlier, men will know who the cat is, so they need to like watch their shit around. And it's usually rated around money or women. They're the cat who like you with a cute chick will slide her your number or the number or slide the business card or what have you like that. But if you know that's their nature, you won't bring women around them that could be susceptible to any bullshit. You know,
Is
you'll
that
just
really,
know
but
how to
Jimmy, is
rock.
that really true? Like, if you look at who's doing what and where, like, it's men really perpetrating all of this violence and all this stuff on men. So if men are like that intuitive, and if they know how to read the temperature of the room, or or how to move in what circles, why are they like getting murked, or like why are they like putting themselves in positions that are inherently like dangerous, or getting set up by one of their dogs them, or like, I don't know if that is definitively true.
I agree.
Every man doesn't move in the same manner as other men. I said earlier that there's a brand of goofy dudes who do get involved, who do get involved in situations where they get their head blown off for talking crazy and so on and so forth, and they are the face of black on black violence. And there's other men who know how to operate, and there's other men who know how to move through a room, and there's other men who know how to diffuse a situation. Every man doesn't move in the same manner.
I'm just
And
saying,
every woman don't either, right? Like
I didn't say that at all.
Yeah, because
I didn't say that at all.
At the end of the day, there is, we have a case like Shanquella, and everybody's like, "Oh, women need to be more careful," but it's a lot of us who know who to keep at a distance and how to determine which one is a friend. So I think we generalize women and men a lot, where it's like, we all just kind of have friends that are just not real friends around us. And
I would also argue too that especially women, in terms of like their interpersonal and really intimate relationships, women are much more intricate. Like, women have like more like better awareness in terms of like the friend dynamics, social dynamics, because we're social creatures, right? We're community oriented, so it's kind of imperative for us to know how to maneuver in these communities with within the social hierarchies, or in really intimate interpersonal relationships. So I would argue that women are probably more adept at that, and men being very individually focused and minded, men not being in tune with their emotions, because typically when this is science, okay? This isn't misandry. This is science. In psychology, men tend to externalize, and they tend to have an external locus of control, so they're not as attuned with their emotions, and that affects their relationships around them. So we can't, like, generally speaking, I can say that about women. So then you can't really generalize women and say, they're not that good at this or that. I would argue it's men, and I would argue that's probably why men have the highest.
Who did that? I don't think nobody said that women aren't good at anything.
Let me dive in. I would love to just dive in on this one point.
What's up, Brother Ish? That's Brother Ish.
Peace, fam.
What's up?
I think that why there's this differential between perspectives is also, we're talking about maturity. There's different phases of male development, and so men at a younger age who are kind of just exploring life outside of their earlier domicile is going to have some of those reckless experiences that you're speaking of. But after a certain point in life, males and men start making different determination and choices, and those that are truly dysfunctional, a lot of times men, as they mature, start to distance themselves from those individuals. So I think it's equally true on both sides, but I think it has to be it's a perspective based on a curve, or based upon a maturity level on the individuals.
I'll give you an example.
I have a question. What do you think about because I did speak to some girls as well. I know Damien, I think her name is Shannon from your Shannon.
My co-host,
Yeah, it's your co-host Shannon. She made a mention of, and I know I went on a girls' trip, and I want to know what is it that clicks on a girls' trip. And I'm not talking about like, Shanquella's case was different because Tawana said those were just like not casual acquaintances, but this one knew that person. But I know I've been you know what I mean, on girls trips where it got staticky. Shannon, your co-host from Can I Get Some Podcast, said the same thing, where she literally had to leave that hotel and get her own room. What is it like when women do get together? There is something like, I don't know if it's the pressure of now we're all under one roof. And it's kind of like when you move in with somebody, it's like, wait, you live differently than I do. I wouldn't have done that. Like what, you know, I wonder what's that friction, because even on my girls trip, and this was many, many moons ago, but even on my girls trip, I was kind of like, it was getting testy between me and another woman. And we had never been testy prior. But on that trip, I found like the stuff that she was doing fucking annoying. I was like, cut it the fuck out already. So I wonder why that happens on those girls trips, because Shannon said the same thing.
Jen, how close were you in that? How close were you and this person?
Very close, like from when we were 15 years old.
And like in each other's space, not like you guys grew up together in the same neighborhood, in the same school, but you didn't really hang out. This was somebody in your core group.
Yes, like my best friend. She's like my best friend. Like,
I mean, sometimes our periods sync. Did that happen? I don't understand either.
Hey, you know, Jen, in listening what you're saying, my perspective on that, just from an outside looking in and speculating, women have a tendency to be more in control of their environment. They're very environmental in relationship to their space. And then when you start taking women who are normally used to controlling their own personal environment, and now they have to work in an environment, in a collective environment, I find that tends to where that clashing dynamic comes from. Because
Brother-ish, Lily had to go because she has to get ready for tomorrow, but I did want her to leave us with some parting words, but she has to go, and I have to respect that. So, Brother-ish, you were saying, I just wanted to see if
when a man moves in with a woman, all of a sudden you see that the woman redecorates the house, right? And she sets adds a feminine tone, so she's very environmentally conscious. This is just me speculating. So now you have a woman who's used to like controlling the full dynamics of her personal space. Now she has to now share a personal space, so she may not want the toothbrush on this side of the sink versus the panties hanging over here, and those become nuances that create conflict between two individuals. Whereas men generally are like very free and loose about the space and environment when they're in a hotel room, like say if they're in a collective group, and it's like if it's not extremely nasty or dirty, it's like, oh dog, why don't you pick that up? And that's not a thing. That may be that dynamic. That's just my perspective.
Let me say this one, because I've been on both, right? I've been where it's a group of us friends and we didn't got into it, and somebody don't want to be around the other person no more, and it's like, what in the hell? I feel like it's just kind of simple. It's like, you cool with someone, y'all hang out, y'all go places, but maybe you've never shared a space for an extended period of time. And also, when people go on trips, it's crazy with the money situation, with the finances. Like, it's all kinds of stuff. People don't want to pay for certain things, and it can get like, if y'all don't have a real good communication amongst each other before the trip, after that trip, it's gonna test you for sure. And I think a lot of the times that I've seen the tension, it's because we didn't discuss how this was going to be paid. And so now that's the issue. Or we didn't discuss, okay, this one, she likes to sleep with the TV on, this one don't. And so now we put them in a room, and now they can't stand each other. And so we got to switch it up.
That part.
It's little personality issues that you don't recognize until you have to be on a 3 or 4 day trip with somebody and you figure it out. But it also could be jealousy. It also could be a lot of other little things that's happening, because like, I've been to Miami, I'm walking down the strip, everybody, hey girl, what's up? And you know, my other friends, if they not getting no action, you know, you see them rolling their eyes and all that kind of stuff. And see, I'm the kind of person that'll be like, and you're acting funny because nobody wants you. Like, see, and then we're gonna fight because I'm gonna say it like that. And so I think sometimes people don't say it right off the bat, and then they're just holding in their animosity or jealousy or whatever is going on. It's a lot. It's going to come out when you on a trip with someone. If you jealous of that person, you're not going to be able to hide it for 3 days.
Yeah, I agree.
And you just said something real.
And the thing is,
real
like,
big there.
women, generally speaking, women have a wider bandwidth, like for depending. I'm gonna for myself, depending on the time of the month, because that's real for me. But I think that women have like, I think in terms of having patience or being able, like having bandwidth for kind of bullshit. I think women have a little bit more wiggle room, whereas men, it's like it doesn't really take a whole lot for a man to snap. It doesn't really take a whole lot for you to like rub him the wrong way. And that might have to do with just, you know, the way that we're kind of socialized, because men can externalize things, and men are able to they're able to snap, right? And they're not, and people are not like, oh my God, he's on his period, right? Like, so I think that women are a little bit better with that. But I don't think it's a woman thing, right? I think if you spend too much time with a person, it just depend. Like sometimes it's the perfect storm, right? Sometimes it's the environment, sometimes it's the drink. There are a lot of variables that go into what would make that trip bad, or what would make that relationship with that person different than it was when you got there. Or before
when you say, and Alicia, when you say bandwidth, do you mean like we'll hold on to resentment longer?
Exactly. That's the point. Women are suffering in silence.
I do not mean that. I mean that women we're more patient, we're more understanding, and I think that we're more like, I don't want to say like putting up with bullshit, but in terms of I guess in terms of managing and dealing with conflict, we're more adept at that, I think.
Yeah, we'll think about the entire picture, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Men will be like, whatever is happening in that moment is the problem. But with us, we'll be like,
exactly. You're exactly right. Because if a woman is taking, like you on a girl trip, and a woman is taking way too long in the bathroom, women will go to the other women and be like, damn, this bitch really taking hella long in the bathroom. What is their problem? Men will be like, motherfucker, what are you taking so fucking long in the bathroom? Get the fuck out the bathroom. And the cold thing about it, a man won't take offense to that. He'd be like, my bad, dog. I'm on my way out. If a woman says that to another woman, it changes that dynamic of the situation.
That is absolutely. For men, that's true.
Absolutely.
For men, that is absolutely true.
But it's not true for women.
I said for men, that is absolutely true. I didn't speak on that.
I don't know. I see it.
People know how long it takes. And I do not take umbrage. It's not a problem. Like, it's a running joke. It's like,
but I mean, these are people who know you. We talking about people that don't know you. I'm not talking about your people.
Even if they don't know me, they're not wrong.
Like I'm saying,
they're not wrong to be upset or frustrated. I'm actually taking a gratuitously long time. I don't take offense. So no, that's not true.
All I'm saying is just like, I think the difference is, I feel like you said, women are more patient. You just said that. Women are more patient. They'll deal with it a lot longer than a man will deal with it. And if it's spoken about, even if it's in a semi-aggressive way, like, get the fuck out of the bathroom, dude, you're taking too fucking long. A dude won't necessarily be like, oh my God, now it's time to fight. He'd be like, damn, I must be taking hella long. Let me fix that. And it doesn't change the dynamic. It's done. It's over and done with. There's not no harboring shit going on later on. It's like we dealt with it. It's over and done.
What a woman will do is probably she'll leave. And that's like, this is what I would do. Like, I have friends that be taking too long. I'm like, I'm not about to miss the event because of you. So you're going to have to meet us there. And then when she get there, she got an attitude because I left. You know what I'm saying? And so then it's like, well, I'm going to react. I'm going to react to what you're doing in a different way. Like, I'm going to look out for myself. I think that is kind of what happens on girls trips a lot, where we like,
you're not leaving me, Juana. Think again. You're not going to that party without me. You know what?
And usually I'm with my best friend or I'm with somebody that's like my girl. Well, I'm like, oh no, I ain't leaving her. But like if it's like the girl that came with the girl, I'm like, girl, listen, I don't even know you enough to be staying here for 2 hours waiting on you.
And I think women see it as a slight. Where men, like, if you leave a dude, he's gonna be like, "Yo, meet me at the
whatever."
spot.
Right?
The man's not gonna feel like you left to me.
Are you, Jen? You know how many guys I know? Like, they when I say that they have complete meltdowns, they lose their mind. If you're late, because men perceive it, it's like for men, they're taking a sort of inventory. Like, oh, if you're late, you don't respect me.
Wait. You mean a man waiting for a woman on a date?
Men waiting for women on a date. Men, sometimes they're waiting for them to get ready in the bed. Like for like men and respect are two things that just cannot be. They're just intrinsically linked.
Well, and let's ask the men on the pen.
That'd be great. Exactly. Seriously, because you're telling us what we think and how we are. So
we got the 4 men on here, okay, and 4
you can just ask us if you want to.
Since y'all are here, what can go wrong on a guy's trip? Do you ever feel slighted? Do you care about the jokes? Do you care like hurry up, nigga, you take it too fucking long?
Listen, Jen, when it comes to men, especially if it's your boys like that, everybody has an understanding of what one dude likes and what one dude doesn't like. We have an understanding of boundaries. Don't touch my basketball. Don't touch this. Don't fucking touch that. Why are you in there for so fucking long? You know what I mean? Things like that. So we let this be known ahead of time. So we don't have a problem. You know what I mean? So, but problems usually arise when it's like somebody touched somebody's basketball. Dog, didn't I tell you not to touch my basketball? Oh yeah, my bad. It's the second time you did that though. It's the second time you did that. You do it another time. You do it another time. We gonna have a problem.
See,
you know what I mean?
That's when I'm touching it a third time.
What am I missing?
That's why I'm gonna touch it the third time because that's a threat. So I'm gonna touch it the third time.
And sometimes, you know what I mean, things go in a particular direction. But what I'm saying is that, and I'm speaking from my perspective and the things that I've gone through, there's boundaries. We're very clear on things. And I'm very clear on respect. You know what I mean? There's certain things that certain men don't have to tell another man, you know, certain things that don't have to be told. Like you don't touch another man's family, you don't touch another man's food, you don't mess with another man's money. You know what I mean? There's just certain things you just don't do. You know what I mean? And if you
I agree.
It's immediately a declaration of war. I'm sorry, I didn't come out right. But the point of the matter is that there's just certain things you just don't do as a man to another man unless you want an issue to happen.
Right. If you're going into if there's a dominant dog environment kind of scenario happening, then that's where conflict arises. Normally, men are trying to, in a lot of scenarios, trying to de-escalate because they know where it can go. Unless somebody's like, I really am tired of this dude. I don't like him anyway, and he's gonna come in here and do this. I'm gonna check him today. That's normally how the situation happens. So even like what Haran is saying is, when I like to take long showers, so I know that if I'm staying in a room with 3 different brothers, I get up earlier than everybody else, so I don't have no issues and nobody banging on the door.
Smart
I was like, okay, if we all plan to leave at 7, I'm up at 5. I take my long shower, do what I need to do, and I go grab a book and I'm chilling, and that way I avoid conflict with the brothers.
See, I'm anal, so I'm like, I'm gonna walk in that shower, I'm gonna look up and down, I'm like, brother,
walk in the shower.
You ain't clean that, bro. Listen. I can't do leftover residue. I can't do that. Listen. When I hop in the shower, it gotta be cleaned out. Like that's my biggest pet peeve. Nobody cleans out the shower.
Oh man, you had I'm glad you clarified that because you was like making it seem like he was taking too long. He was gonna walk in the shower.
Exactly.
Right. That would have been a problem.
Right.
what do you say?
A little bit unrealistic. Like this seems like more idealistic or empirical than like. Do you guys think that men are like good with like conflict resolution?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No. We preempt the conflict from happening by coming up with understanding.
No, you
we
don't.
try to preempt it. Once it happens, it's different.
If that was the case, you wouldn't see the relationships or the dynamics between men. It wouldn't be what like I don't think that's men's strong suit. Like conflict resolution for men.
We got 4 men telling you that's exactly how it is, but I guess what do we know?
I mean, I think
I've just had a penis for 47 years.
The numbers say that they're so poor with conflict resolution, and the numbers of homicide are like they're dangerous. So it's like I don't know.
We're talking about getting into a fight at a doing a
don't
trip.
fall for the trap, Dame. Don't fall.
I'm sorry, y'all.
I understand because there's a lot of violence between men. They have the propensity to be violent, but I understand the laying down the rules. You know what man is what. When you're in a group of men, you know what man is what, you know who not to fuck with, you know what line not to cross. But after the line is crossed, the violence is gonna, you know what I mean? So it's easy for men that don't know each other to be homicidal out in the street. But I think in groups of men,
the ones who are homicidal are they're almost, it's almost the ones that are closest to the people that they're killing.
Then there's something else. There's emotion going on, like the video you said about the dude who said about going to jail was like because the dude get in their feelings, but they have higher expectations of the people who know them, so that the reaction is higher because the expectation on how you're supposed to move is higher. I got, like what I said, I got 3 brothers on this planet that I know that's not blood related that I have the highest expectation for. Like if a dude off the street were to have enough game and he ended up hooking up with my wife, I wouldn't go and be mad at the dude because that's what he's supposed to do. But if these 3 cats that I love come and do that shit, I'm taking your head off because you know me and you know how I get down.
But Damien, women are that way too. Women are very, they're vocal, they're communicative, they're verbally expressive in terms of what they need, who they are, what the expectations are. Like I think that's true for both parties. Like at least in my experience.
But society has encouraged it and propagated it for a long time for men.
Sorry?
Society has propagated and encouraged men to be physical. Women like men who they feel like can be physically protect them. Most women don't be like, I want to be out with a guy who I feel like can get his ass kicked every time we go out. It's always women want the guy who's kicking the other dude out. And I've known women who left their men because they got their ass kicked in a fight.
Okay, well, listen.
I think that's
right. But if y'all don't mind, I was listening real quick because I'm running back and forth. I apologize.
I'm sorry.
I'm running back and forth.
Probably didn't have a chance to say nothing.
Okay, so I've been listening because I'm putting on my cosplay right now. But what I can't do?
Wait, you can't.
We need to see it.
I'm not done yet.
Whoa.
Okay, listen. Okay, you can see me for a second. So basically,
let's go.
I want to see the cosplay.
What I'm saying is that women, even though the things are physical, women will punish each other for long. Like women go for the long game. They go for the long game. Okay, they out here trying. Girls will make themselves make their friends get to a situation. That's not just take away friends. Other girls, when they attack, they will put themselves in a mental place where other women want to kill themselves. You might as well kill yourself than have 10 years of someone thinking you're a slut, thinking that you're a hoe, thinking that your friends thinking you're unloyal, you're a horrible person. Women will go kill themselves. So it's just the same effect. It's just different. They're physical, but you're mental. I'm gonna be honest, if you're a woman and you think about that, someone's gonna torture you for 10 years or beat your ass and for good. Which one would you choose?
That does not.
I hear you. So basically, what you're saying
That's
is,
what I'm saying. I want my ass beat my ass. Beat my ass.
Men will beat you up.
Damien, hold on.
Men will beat you up. Hold on, let me just right. Men will beat you up, but women will mentally beat you till you're dead inside.
Slut shaming does not come from women. That is almost an exclusively man response to women's sexual promiscuity or whatever it is.
Look, Jen can't even get on that one.
Men are no. Hold on.
The first thing women say when they want to talk bad about a woman is call her a slut.
Women are not on podcasts talking. Oh well, let's say that there's an abysmal number. Let's say. Oh, but overwhelmingly, it's men who are actually quantifying and saying, "Hey, if your body count is this, you're worthless. Hey, if you have this many kids, you're like." That's men, and they've always done it as a way to control women's sexuality. We're not going to sit here and act like that's a woman thing. That is 100,000% what men have been doing.
It's 100,000% misogyny and man thing, but because women want to be chosen by men, that's the first thing.
Okay, so say pick-me's then. Don't say women.
They're like, that bitch is a hoe.
Yeah, okay. So pick-me's want to get picked because they wouldn't. Pick-me's have to do everything that they can because they wouldn't otherwise. That's cool. They're
married women do it too. Married women call women sluts all the time.
Men. Let's be clear.
Hey! Don't be coming for no married women now. I don't be calling nobody no sluts. Okay.
Come on now.
Call them dumb bitch every once in a while, but
tell the truth.
I never called a woman a slut. What kind of?
I just don't
care. I think married women, especially because they're very protective.
Tell the truth.
But if a girl walks in and her ass is on, her titties out, the married women are gonna be like,
let them look at her like,
you know what I call her? I'd be like, that little heifer. Who that little heifer thinks she is?
Oh, that's Southern for slut.
No, women did not.
That's Southern for slut.
Invent the whole phase. You niggas don't understand. Like, why would women want to have their sexuality?
You fight both men and women.
Control their sexuality. What sense would that make? Like, stop it. The whole phase came from men. Oh, she's not fucking with me, or she's going through a whole phase, or they sit up on these podcasts talking about, oh, she went through a whole phase and now we don't want her anymore.
I don't know what
she
went
through a whole phase and now she wants a high value man,
okay.
And they don't want.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want every woman to think they're slut. We're not saying that. What I'm saying is that you can see it in. Let's just pull out a television program. Let's put a movie, Mean Girls, right? Those girls showed a big version of how women attack each other. And that goes on for long terms throughout years, high school years, college years, the kind of mental torment we do to each other. I'm not saying all women, because I hate saying all. All is the worst word I ever heard in my life. What I'm saying is there's a large portion of this activity, this behavior that is out there. So we can't ignore that women aren't mental and they're not mentally hurting each other, which can cause problems. Not all, but a good majority of these women. You see this in high school, you see this in TV. This is not something we're delusional on. When you get Basketball Wives, which are like top TV networks, where women are watching other women getting battered mentally and physically. So you cannot say that these things don't happen in the women's area.
Right. No, but what we're talking about, when you talk about Mean Girls, also talk about narcissism and psychopathy. Those women obviously are narcissistic. Like, they're obviously mentally and emotionally fucked. Like, let's be honest. On average, the average woman is not emotionally manipulative.
That's just narcissistic ass women.
I will say this, I just keeping it a buck. I've heard women talk about the whole phase. Yes, men call women hoes. But even to Miss Polly's point, like in high school, junior high school, that mean girl shit is real. And that's before anybody got a husband. That's before anybody got a boyfriend. That mean girl shit is fucking real. Now, I don't know if they're psychopaths in junior high school and high school, but that mean girl shit is real. If you're not,
and men ain't got shit to do with that.
Narcissistic.
No, but here's the thing with that I hear, because it's personality issues on men and women. So when there's conflict, even what the men were describing was personality issues, right? But the difference is that men can hide their contempt for someone much longer than women can.
No.
Y'all can. Y'all can be. Yes, you can. Y'all can be frenemies with somebody for years and then kill them in the fifth year.
Like, yes,
my
lady.
Hold on. That's happened several times where women, we're going to do something that's going to tip the woman off. Like, it may be subtle. You might not see the first instance. You might think, okay, whatever, we just got into a little argument. But eventually you're going to notice a pattern with the woman that hates you and be like, you know, she don't fuck with me for real. Like, she might be acting like we cool, but she don't really mess with me. Eventually you're going to see the signs. But it's a man can be in the room with y'all. He can pretend, he could be fucking your wife, like, and act like y'all cool as hell for the entire trip, and go on the trip and tell your wife all about what you did on the trip. Like, that's the type of situations that I've seen with men, where men are literally hanging with their enemies, and they don't know they're the enemy. They don't have a clue. Whereas with me, like, I'll tell my husband, like, that girl don't like me. He'd be like, you paranoid as fuck. Like, that's, she cool, she like you, she love you. I'm like, no, she don't. Like, I'm super perceptive about chicks, and I'll know, but I may like hang around her for a little bit just to see if I'm wrong or not. But eventually there's something else that happened, and I'm like, nope, I'm cutting her off, I'm done.
Let me ask a question. I gotta ask a question. So are you saying, just to be clear, women will know that another woman don't like them and is a friend of me, and they'll still hang out with this woman?
Yep.
Not me.
And you think that's a positive thing? I'm just a little.
I didn't say it was a positive thing. I think that a lot of women do it. I know people who do it.
Men don't do that.
Hold on.
They don't know that.
When I first got on, Damien was saying that men do that purely out of, you know, whatever utility that they can get from that man.
No,
that's not a friend. That is not a friend.
If it's an associate,
no, but
that's not a friend.
I'm not playing semantics. That's a frenemy. If they can get you, if they can get you to the front of the line at the club, based on the fact that you know him, you could call him an acquaintance, whatever. But in terms of the way that we're defining or characterizing the term frenemy, it's someone who you don't really F with, and to the extent that you F with them, in men's case, it's based on how much they can do for you. So men and women do that. I do not do that. I know if someone doesn't like me, that's the end of that. That's it.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, there's a difference between.
It's a lot of women that think like you, Anna.
We would never let that put ourselves in a situation where anything that we hold valuable would be at risk around that person. So they can never be considered a friend. My life, my money, my wife, I would never put any of those things that I feel like are of value to me. So that's how they can never be categorized as any type of friend. They can be a useful fool or have some type of utility that I can take advantage of. And I may be the same way. I knew that D liked me because he wanted he didn't want all these, he wanted dudes that women would find attractive around him. I'm not trying to like brag now, but he told me this, you know, he was like, if you was an ugly nigga, I wouldn't be fucking with you. You know, so I know what my utility was to him. So it is just like saying we established that we knew it and we had an understanding. There was no subterfuge where I was like, oh my God, we're friends. Or he thought, yeah, Damien's my friend. He knew that if he lost his ability to be useful, I probably wouldn't fuck with him, because when I gave up the club life, he lost his ability. Let me finish. He lost his ability to be useful, and I didn't fuck with him.
Okay, so let's forget frenemy, whatever. If someone's in proximity to you in any capacity, that means they have some ability to sort of like superimpose themselves into your life in a negative way. They're in proximity to you. You don't have to like them for them to be in proximity to you, but they still have access because you utilize them for whatever reason.
Yep.
Yeah, it could be a coworker.
Yeah, that could be a coworker.
It could be a transactional situation where I'm using a coworker to climb up a ladder. See, here's the problem.
But a coworker wouldn't be considered a friend, right? A coworker is someone you just have to be associated with.
Here's the thing. I think that
I got a lot of frenemies that work then, if that's the case. I guess
here's the problem. Like I think that men have no issue with transactional situations. If it's a win-win situation, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? We ain't got to be buddies. We ain't got to be pals. We ain't got to be, you know what I mean, be dapping up or whatever. But if it's a situation where you call me and we can both get some money together or whatever, we can both get a situation together, then fine, great, wonderful. How is that an issue? How is that a problem?
Because that person has proximity to you and
that's life.
able to
that's life.
you.
That's life. You're going to meet people that, you should just have a transactional situation with.
And
everybody
cool.
Ain't gonna be your friend. Everybody shouldn't be your friend, and that's probably why. And that's probably why that girl got caught up in the situation that she got
caught up in. Christian. So let me say this. I did see one time, because I'm the type of person, like, when I don't like you, I'm less like a man, I guess, than I should be. To my detriment sometimes, because if I don't like you, even if you're a benefit to me, I don't want to fuck with you. I want nothing to fucking do with you, right? But then I was listening to Don Peebles, who's obviously a man, real estate mogul out of New York City, and he was on an interview, and they asked him, a lot of people question why you deal with Trump. Trump is another real estate mogul, and Don Peebles said, in business, if you only deal with people you like, then you limit your business.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And that taught me something, where I cut people off quick. And even though that networking with that person, or being on that set with that person, or producing with that person can make me more money. Right. But I'm like, no, I don't like her fucking personality. Fuck that bitch. But then when Don Peebles said that, I was like, that's so fucking true, because I'm sure he loathes Donald Trump. He's a real estate mogul, and he's a real estate mogul. So obviously the connection makes sense. But then going back to what Annalisa said, tomato, it's still a frenemy, even though men are saying, well, I wouldn't let him in my house. But you're still interacting with him. You're still like, hey, what's up, dude? But it's like, you can't come to my house, but, can you get me these tickets for this game? That's still in the frenemy category.
Jen, to your point, Jen, though, it's not typically the people who you befriend for business reasons, political reasons, etc. It's typically somebody that you think you like that don't like your ass for real. Like it's the total opposite. So yeah, if you're cutting off a business connection just because you clash with somebody's personality, that's not a smart business person, right? Because I am super cool with people I cannot stand in my industry. Like I cannot stand them. Outside of that, I would never speak to them for real. But I have to be friends with them because they have connections that I need, right, for my field. But I don't have to choose to hang with them socially. Men will still hang with a man socially because he benefits them in some way. Well, women, we won't do that because we tend to be that kind of people that's like, I don't like that bitch in real life. So whatever she do for me in the business world, whatever, we cool. But I'm done after that. And so
y'all be in the club, Haran, damn well, back in them club days, you would be in the club with that motherfucker.
Absolutely, because maybe I was trying to fuck his cousin. You know what I mean? So, no, I'm being straight up honest with you. I'm straight up honest with you because it's called, you know what it's called? It's called playing the long game. Then play the long game with things, and we'll say, hey, you know what? I want to get to this particular level right here, and I'll go through whatever I need to go through in order to get it. So if it means dealing with Donald Trump and his bullshit and his bad toupee, then so be it. But I'm gonna go get this money. I'm gonna go get this bag because I have aspirations. I have things I need to do.
So what's the deal breaker for the men? What's the deal breaker? If you could fuck with somebody, even though they tried to fuck your girl, or you don't like them as a human being, like, what's the deal breaker? What's the deal breaker?
If you put your hands on my family. If you put your hands on my family. The woman, it depends.
You said put your hands if somebody gets physical with your family.
Yeah, if you put your hands on my daughter, if you put your hands on my money, yeah, we got an issue. With the woman, it depends. Depends on what she is to me. Look, I'm here to keep it real with you, Jen. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's interesting because I know that's how men think. World is on the panel. What's up, World?
What's going on?
Hey.
Man, you got it. Women definitely have more frenemies than men. I hear that y'all conflating what an actual friend is than actually what an associate is, or somebody that could be in proximity.
Absolutely.
I keep hearing proximity. I keep hearing that you being a friend, and just because you kick it with somebody or you dap them up, that's your friend, or that has a possibility to be a frenemy. I don't believe that's, because you're talking about the young lady that got killed, right? And so with that, I believe they were friends, because I'm not gonna go on a vacation with nobody I'm not a friend with. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not going on a vacation with just, unless it's somebody that maybe knows somebody, but it's not gonna be me. Like, they went as all friends and ended up doing what they did to her. So I would say that would be the same as, say you grow up and you live a certain lifestyle and you guys rob a bank and you guys are supposed to be friends. And you got three of y'all to get caught. One of them tell on the other two. That's what I would consider a frenemy. That's what I would consider. I wouldn't just consider because I don't consider everybody to be your friend. Because you can hang out with, I can be with you, Jen, and meet somebody through you. That's your friend. That's not my friend. We could be friends, but only time I see this person is if I see you. So they don't owe me anything. They wouldn't even get close enough to me to do anything to become a friend of me, to what I believe the definition is. You know what I'm saying? Like, friends, they're gonna have your number. They're gonna have, if you figure out something, you figure out a plan to get some money or whatever, you're gonna share that with your friend. You're not just gonna share that with everybody. If they get up on something, they're gonna be like, hey man, I found this out, man. Hey, this is what we doing right now. Hey, try this out. You know what I'm saying? Those are what friends do. You know what I'm saying? You're not just gonna go to just the homeboy that you may watch a fight with or whatever. If there's a fight or whatever, or the Super Bowl, or every now and then you may see this person 2 or 3 times a year. That's not your friend. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, I've absolutely been on trips with people that are not my friends. Absolutely.
That's why I said women.
And I have absolutely. I mean, it was guys on the trip with people they didn't know either. So, like,
that's a couple's trip, though. I'm talking about you with friends.
Hold on. You're making a lot of assumptions. It was not a couple's trip. I was on a trip to another country with people that were cool, but I did not know them personally like that. We were cool. We got acquainted on the trip. And there were guys there who didn't know other people. So it happens. I understand it's not your world, but it is other people.
It's not the world either. It's not what it's not,
it is.
Not Shanquella's. No. Because Shanquella, those were her friends.
Those were her friends.
Shanquella went to college with those people, but everyone said that they were not friends directly. They knew each other because they went to school together. It's a small campus.
They were friends.
No, they were not friends. She had friends.
Yes, they was.
Okay, whatever. So regardless, whatever you think. I mean, I've studied the case a lot. So I've heard from her parents. I've heard from her sister, her family, who know her friends and who are saying that she went to
and
college.
They were talking to her parents. The friends were talking to her
No, they weren't.
Yes, they was.
No, Khalil brought them to the house, and they then was trying to kind of tell the parent, "Oh, she died of alcohol poisoning."
Khalil,
yeah.
Tawana, Khalil is the one that got there after, right? When she
Nazir's the one who got there the day after. Khalil is the friend that she's been knowing for 9 years. He was the one that she had been, like, she went to school with him in high school.
Was he in the room when that fight was going on?
There's speculation. There hasn't been any. No one has validated that he was actually in the room. Donovan was the one who was actually filming the incident, and then so no one knows where Khalil was. Everybody felt like he should have stepped up and like stopped the fight because he knew her the longest. Nazir knew her for several years as well. Everyone else knew her through college. So it wasn't their first time going on a trip, but she's been on the trip with Dejanay before, actually. She went somewhere else with her before. So again, I've hung out with people that way too, like people who I know through college. And I've been on 2 trips with them, but I wouldn't say that person is like my friend. Like, I don't talk to them on a daily. But if they going somewhere, like, I would go. because I would feel like I know that person. So you can't just make a general statement like that, like, oh, I wouldn't do that. Well, that's you personally, but there's a lot of people who do it. It's actually groups.
Yeah, but I know, but that's just like I wouldn't just go with. I'm saying now a group trip is different. If it's just all people of one sex, or like all men are going on a trip, there's usually friends. It's usually not gonna be no dudes that just meet each other. Like, hey man, you want to go to Brazil? Come on.
No, it was a mixed crowd though. It
Nah,
was
it's not
girls.
gonna be like
It
that.
was women and men. It wasn't just like her. It was women and men on the trip.
Well, yeah, even if she went to college with them, that situation shouldn't have happened. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you shouldn't. Even if you went to college, if I'm comfortable enough in front of you to be naked or whatever, I don't know what they were doing. I don't know the whole gist of it.
She wasn't naked. She was in a bed, and the girl pulled her out of bed naked.
And her family says she slept naked. That's what she did. That was her. You know, I mean, a lot of people.
Yeah, but if I feel comfortable enough to sleep naked like that, then you know what I'm saying. Then that should not have happened. Is what I'm saying.
Well,
so I believe that
she was in her own room, right? They came in her room and pulled her out. I mean, if you like to sleep naked, even if you out of town, is that gonna change? I mean, I know people who sleep naked, like when you're out of town, you know, unless you're sharing a room with somebody, you might be like, you still gonna sleep naked.
Yeah. I believe that's the definition right there of frenemies, because I think those were people that she thought was her friend, but they weren't. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I agree. I think that here's the thing though, if you have someone around you to the point where you allow them into your personal space, even if you consider them an associate, they have access to you. So that, because to me, it's still a potential to be a frenemy. That's what we're saying. We're saying that you can't just say, oh, well, you know, I know that this person don't gel with me. I'm only around him for certain reasons, but you allow him access to your home, to your, you know, whatever. And you trying to act like, well, I know he ain't shit, but he still kind of can come around me whenever.
But I'm saying your real friend is not going to be in that situation, because you're going to allow your real friend. If it's a real friend, it's not. I'm not saying it's based on no type of business. They can't do nothing for you. They your friend when you up. They your friend when you down. They your real friend is what I mean when I say that. I'm not. So I'm saying in that situation, then that person is going to be. You may give friends like that a key to your home. Right. They may, you know what I'm saying, to watch your house if you go out of town or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But like with her situation, like now, I don't know. I just think that I think that was a situation that shouldn't have happened, whether they were friends or not, whether she thought they were friends, whether they was associates, whether they went to college. I just don't think that should have never happened amongst people that you trust. And that's part of. And I mean, nobody's to say we don't know the ins and outs of the story. We can't say that she trusted him or whatever, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because if I'm fucked up like that and I let you around me, that means I trust you. Because I mean, you know, as you see, people do some fucked up shit to you when you fucked up.
Yeah.
I just want to say something, like, personally, just to be clear, if someone is an associate, that person is not coming to my house. I'm not letting this person around my children. I'm not letting this person around.
That's what I'm saying. They ain't even gonna know where I live. They ain't even gonna know where I live. Like, if I have to do something with you, I'm gonna meet you around the corner.
And the reason being is that, you know what I mean, if you allow people to engage with you in that particular manner, they have more access to you, and you're more vulnerable.
What is that?
You're more vulnerable. Someone got the game going on. Something's happening over there.
No, it's better now.
Here's the thing.
So, you know what I mean? I just want to say one more thing. I just say one more thing. Jen and I were having a discussion today, and based on her injuries, it sounds like either one or two things happened. Either she was attacked by a group of people, or she was attacked by one man. You know what I mean? Because to have those kinds of injuries, the average woman can't do that to another, you know what I mean, to another person. You know what I mean? That's just, now a gang of women, that's different. You know what I mean? But a male of a particular build, you know what I mean, he can pull that off. Now, I don't know what the dudes or the men who are in the room look like, but it just sounds very, there's just far more to this story, of course, than we know. And I think, personally speaking, I think she was jumped. You just know the video probably, you know, I mean, the video that we saw, mess around was just the beginning of it. I think she was jumped.
I was also thinking like when the girl yanked her off the bed, when the girl yanked out the bed, maybe she hurt her neck real bad. Like you get yanked out of bed,
right,
and fall on the floor or something. You know, it's just we're gonna find out what happened eventually. We're gonna find out. I mean, people are gonna start talking.
There's been an arrest, and it was one of the females. So they have not
arrest warrant or
the warrant, right? The warrant. I'm sorry, and there's a extradition in place, I guess, but it was a woman, and the paperwork that was translated from Mexico said that after they investigated and figure out, they determined that she was the direct aggressor in this situation. So for us to speculate that it was a man is kind of like, I don't know. I mean, it's going against what they've already proven to be true, was that there is a woman who's the direct aggressor in this situation. And I'm not saying that to say women have more frenemies. I'm saying that it's just that I think that we are just discounting human behavior in general. And there is no woman or man who have more frenemies. Like men have frenemies just as much as women. And I mean, sometimes to me, men's frenemies are deadly. It is deadly for them. Whereas with women, we may live through it. It may be like,
well, it's deadly. It just happened. It just happened with her. It's deadly.
Yeah, but so that's what we call that, though, is not something that's like a trend or a pattern. Like it's something that happened. Like it could be a one-off situation, or it could be a couple of one-off situations. But when you look at behavior and patterns and things that happen consistently, you don't see that women are consistently murking other women, right? You don't see that. It's just not a trend. It's just not happening. But you see it happen here and there. Somebody mentioned Kanika Jenkins, but she wasn't. She wasn't murked. Yep. She wasn't murked, but that she was on a friend. She was with friends, right? And nobody looked out for her. Yes, she was with friends, and no one looked out for her. But it's just a difference between. So what I'm saying is, like, you can't sit here. You can't say that statistically women have more frenemies than men, and then you see what's happening in as far as especially if we're measuring it based on physical violence that happens as a result of having frenemies. You can see who's more invulnerable, and I'm gonna say men, because women, we are not being murked as often as you guys are. So,
but is this frenemies or it's enemies? Definitely. It's enemies. Because we're not
men don't do the frenemy
thing. The key word, frenemies, not enemies. Frenemies.
But there's instances where I know that the people are friends or associated with each other or know each other or are cool and don't see it happening. So it's not like it's always a stranger. Enemies are not always strangers. They're not.
No, enemies could be your former homie.
Most of the time
it could be your family member. You know what I'm saying?
Most of the time they aren't. Most of the time they're people who you know, who you're close with, who you're connected with, and that's who is typically the person who has the most access to you. So
but then also a lot of the situation with men, sometimes they were friends and now they're no longer friends. I don't think that's the same as
Jack City.
I don't think it's the same.
About the case.
So
I don't think it's the same as frenemies.
Okay, so it don't count no more.
Can I ask a question about
different.
The case? I'm not clear on something. Did the people that went to Mexico with her, did they come back to the States, or is some of them still down in Mexico?
Yeah. No, they came back quick. They were out of there.
Okay, so when she said there was an extradition in relationship to that, well, I didn't understand that.
Oh, I'm sorry. So
they don't live in Mexico.
So extradite her back out there to Mexico, because that's where the crime happened.
Oh, because they're. Oh, I got you. Because
they came back here. That's where the crime happened. Was over there. So it's up under their jurisdiction.
They left the next morning. Apparently, used her credit card to change the flight because she was the one who initially charged the flight. So that has been proven as well. The friends did use her credit card, but it was specifically to adjust the flights.
Who you keep telling on yourself? I thought they wasn't friends.
The friends, Khalil.
Oh, okay.
Khalil.
I'm messing with you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, let's semantics. You know, she had some people who were her friends on the trip. She had some people that weren't. But she knew everyone on the trip, if that makes sense. I mean, I think it should just make sense. We know that you can know people and not be friends, right?
And so they used her credit card for them to come back early.
Yes, they had to come back early, right? And then after she died, the day after she died, they came back. And from what I understand, they didn't want to stay in the house, so that it was also an additional charge for like another room.
Yeah, because they
if they used her card to get there too. So she paid for them to get there.
Right, but I think they paid her back. But I think because she used her card, that was the card that was on file. So
if I had to speculate,
I don't know if it was all 6, Jen. I think it was Khalil because he's her, best friend. I think it was some of the group. Some of the group were okay, and they just got there by themselves. And then now that the investigation has taken place, now the one person who they believe is the direct aggressor have been extradited or is in the process, right? They're trying to locate her and extradite. They have not listed who that person is. It could be Winter.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, why they even said her name.
Because that's how Mexico do things. So we don't, since the U.S. is not over this case, they can't release.
But it has to be Dejanay. She's the one
that's what I hope. I'm hoping it's her, but everybody's saying it could be Winter, right? Somebody could have that second video with her body slamming her.
Right, but then they would be after 2 women because
they should need, because Dejanay still need to be charged.
So does it just speculating? Does it sound like everybody wanted to leave early and wanted her to pay for it, but she didn't want to pay for it, and then so that's why they jumped her?
No,
I think they leave her to get out of there. It was leaving the scene of the crime.
That's exactly what it was.
It was just that. Okay.
No,
they got the fuck up out of Dodge.
She was pronounced dead. They decided we got to get up out of here, and then that's when they planned.
Yeah, and then they said, "Where that credit card? Where that credit card?
Yeah, how do we get out of Mexico?
Where the credit card at?"
You know what it sounds like?
Nobody wants to go to jail in Mexico.
You know what it sounds like? You know what it really sounds like? Sounds like this young lady was used as a utility. The same thing a minute ago. Men were basically accused of doing. Men only were accused of doing.
No, I think she thought that these people were. I think she thought that they were. I think she thought they were her friends, but in their eyes, I think they was hating. Sound like they was hating on her or something.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is that if they wanted using her just for a utility, I'm sure by making her believe that we all friends, it makes the situation move smoother. It just sounds like this was all a setup. This was all a situation, you know what I mean, from the get up, you know what I mean, and it's a lot deeper than what it is. I tell you one thing. When they sit her down in that federal room, and that hot lamp get on her, I told Jen, after it's all said and done, they gonna handcuff OJ. I'm telling you, man. Everybody starts singing once the Fed numbers start getting thrown out.
But that's the thing when we're talking about the frenemy thing. I wonder who was the frenemy or what the relationship was, or the friendship was, or the non-friendship. Because the Winter chick said, Shanquella did something stupid the night before when she was drunk.
Mm-hmm.
So what did she do to violate that, or to make the other woman feel violated? What happened? Like, was her man out there?
Right.
Did somebody send a text? Was it a "what's up, big head" that shouldn't have been sent? Because the Winter chick
or
said,
did she mess with somebody's man that was there, or
right? Like it's like what happened? Because remember, Shanquella, when you look at the group, she's the cute girl. You know what I'm saying? Compared to Dejanay. Right. I'm just saying.
And I mean, that's if we believe Winter, because Winter.
And they said, the climate is that the climate is that they was hating on her too. That's kind of like a speculation that she was receiving some hate.
It's usually a little bit of that shit.
For being pretty and things like that, or whatever the case.
Can I just say
and usually hate follows a lot of this. Frenemies, always the root of it is jealousy and hate.
So here's what people have said, and I don't know if this happened. This is allegedly. Khalil is the friend, right? The 9-year, guy. He's the one she's been knowing. He's the one who invited Dejanay and Winter, and apparently it was like he bought them because he knew that it was going to be like some tension and beef between them. So like he brought the girls as his kind of like backup, because like he planned to kind of have an issue with Shanquella over some business. So him and Shanquella apparently were doing business together. And
man, this thing is getting deep. This is like a movie that I'd watch.
Look, listen.
This is a movie. Somebody should write. This is a crazy, like a movie. Hey, but y'all, I got work is jumping up. I got to jump on work. I got to get up with you guys. I appreciate talking to y'all. I'll let y'all later.
All right, man. Peace.
Take it easy. All right, y'all.
I just want to say something. These some ghetto ass names, man. This is the first time I'm hearing these names. These some ghetto ass fucking names. Shanquella, Winter, Day Day, Dejanay, like nobody named Tom or Susan in this motherfucker.
No, nobody's named Tom.
No.
No Tom.
And another thing too. See, this is what happens when you mess with people balling on a budget. Don't be messing with broke people, man. Okay, this sounds like you know, it's just a lot of things attached to it, and I don't think that one girl is the major component of the situation. There's once they sit her down and they start asking some tough questions, and they threaten her with some real time. Yeah, see, she gonna get to singing. She's gonna get to singing. Then we're gonna hear what really happened.
She can prove, or she gonna be the one in Mexican jail.
I mean, and that's what they're gonna tell her. She's gonna tell everything.
Because she's the only one that they've shown proof of. It's all a speculation. This second video, right? We've never seen Winter in the video slamming the girl. They claim the other girl that was present, Alyssa, also fought Shanquella. So they say that there were multiple women who had fights with her that day, but nobody's seen these other videos. Okay,
you know what could happen? Not to cut you, Twana.
Go ahead.
You know what could happen? Now, I'm just looking at this purely from the perspective of what you just said, that technically there's only proof of one person being the aggressor.
Right.
What if there are more people involved, but the rest of the people, they on the side say, yo, let's get our story together. Blame it on her because there's only proof of her actually doing something. We stick to our story. She takes the fall and we're out of it.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that could actually happen.
That's
the translated letter says that Mexico, the prosecutor, he says that he's going after the other 5 who covered up as well the story. So he didn't.
Okay, cool.
He did not.
So he's going after. All right, so the truth gonna come out then. The truth gonna come out.
He said that he did not name their names either. I'm like, what the hell is it with these not naming people? We wanted to see the names in there, but he didn't name them. But he said that they were not only going off of after the direct aggressor, but the 5 who covered up the story. So they know that it was a cover up. So that was mentioned, that it was a cover up, that they lied intentionally to the doctor, which allowed the doctor to give her the wrong type of treatment. They said she had alcohol poisoning and the IV didn't help because that's not really what her problem was, right? She needed, her neck was broken, or at least there was some fractures or something. So I think there was, if they would have told the truth, then maybe they would have known.
Yeah, because the way that they look at it and the way police look at things like this in general is, if you're sitting right there and you witness a crime being committed, and if you're not forthright with information, they believe you to be complicit in it. Exactly. So then they want to kind of lump everybody up into it. And then, like Haran said, that's how they're going to get her. Because I believe the main one, because is she the one? Because if she could, in her mind, she could be thinking what you thinking, Haran. In her mind, she could be thinking, hey, these motherfuckers about to try to get me. Let me get them before they get me. They could be thinking about her. Hey, she might tell them that I was involved in this too. Let me go ahead and then you got everybody pointing the finger at each other. But they're going to get to the bottom of it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, though, when you're out of country, this is the worst thing. This happens so many times. You need to know the laws about where you are going. Point blank. You can do something really simple that you think is so innocent, and it will give you 50 years. It'll be something stupid that you think is dumb. They don't have the same rules. They don't. So I mean, they could just say, "Hey, you're down here. We extradited you. we're gonna go with you're guilty, point blank, and they put you in jail. They don't gotta see shit. They don't play by the same rules. They don't have to. So you're really like stupid. I'm gonna be honest. That's dumb. If you're gonna do some shit, do it where you know the laws, my friend. You can get help.
You're right. Like Brittany Griner would have got a ticket for that pen. They would have let her go.
Correct.
In that other country, she got 9 years. So you absolutely
they do not
right.
care.
And she got slave labor.
Once the FBI got involved, it was over.
And I know they weren't expecting this woman to die. No. They were expecting it to be another ratchet moment. Right. Like, yeah, girl, we were in Mexico and I beat her ass. That's what they were expecting.
No, that is.
And it turned into a fucking horror movie mystery. Like, who done it? I know what you did last summer.
Yeah, like I know if they probably like when they probably didn't even notice, but they like, oh shit, her motherfucking neck is broke. Like this.
They probably was like, oh my gosh, she's
like she ain't moving. Like her neck
not moving. Because
you don't want to be in jail in Mexico, okay? That's
they came back to America real quick. Didn't
they? That's why old girl ain't came forward. She like, hell no.
Mexican jail. That's like being in jail in Siberia. You don't want to be in a Siberian jail or a Mexican jail. I just tell motherfuckers, just shoot me, please. Just don't. I ain't going to no jail in Mexico.
No, but
man.
The funny thing is, they really thought they were escaping it. Like, we'll just jump a flight back home and leave her here. Like, they really thought they was gonna escape.
I don't know how they thought that. Like,
you gonna be black and go to Mexican jail? Think about that. You're gonna be a black person going to a Mexican jail.
But listen, whether people like it or not, it's looks have something to do with how you're treated.
Yeah.
And this girl, that Dejanay chick, she is not. I'm just gonna say,
she rough in the face. I'll say it.
I'll be nice, but I'm like, she fell out the ugly tree and hit.
She gonna get beat down.
Yeah.
She hit the branches.
But Jen, it's people like you who've brought it to national attention because, to be honest, October 31st is when it's like October 29th, is when it happened. And like there was literally no movement on it, and Mexican authorities were going to close it as a accident, right?
That's what Ron told me. He was like, nobody's talking about this.
Nobody was talking about it. And the fact that like YouTube influencers, like all of you guys who've been bringing awareness to it, it really did put pressure on Mexico. And now, because we're consumers, people do not want to go there because they're like, well, I'm afraid that if something happened to me,
like
I die in Mexico. And so Mexico do not want us to think that because they make a large percentage of their money from tourists. And so they're like, well, no, we're going to investigate this case because listen.
But there was also some whispers that they was dragging their feet on things and shit over there in Mexico.
Oh yeah, they have implicated the doctor because the doctor gave her an IV and it made something collapse, and it was just some stuff that happened. They were doing CPR on her for hours and actually had one of the friends helping with CPR. So there was some things that the doctors didn't do right that is being investigated as well. So we're just like, this story is crazy.
Poor baby, that poor
CPR
baby.
for hours.
Oh yeah, she was. They called her at 2. They announced her dead at 4:49. So she didn't die right away. Yeah.
CPR for hours don't really make sense, but
I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was whispers that them over there was
for 2 hours. Like
then how you supposed to be the doctor?
With a broken neck. Broken neck.
How you supposed to be the doctors, but you telling them, hey, Mira, come on over here, get involved. Grab a chest, grab a hand, grab something.
You guys have to read
Mexico. You're in Mexico.
Yeah, you guys got to read that report because it said
they got that cartel doctor.
It said that the doctor asked them several times, like, please take her to the hospital. I can't help her. Like, I can't help her. They didn't have the tools to help her in that room. And the friends were like, no, help her here. She's not going to the hospital. Like, so there, and then I think the ambulance did get called. But remember, you're in a foreign country. It could take hours. Like, it's not like America.
The first doctor showed up an hour later.
Yeah.
The first doctor that showed up on the scene.
Oh, this just sounds like amateur hour.
No, but this is Mexico. This is how it is. It's like the culture is different there. It could take an hour for
that makes
emergency
sense.
to get to you. You
They're
know,
Mexico. They're not in New York.
Yeah.
And that doctor
That makes
is a doctor that usually shows up for when someone's sick within that resort. So
Yeah.
you're not pulling a doctor out of, you know what I mean, the hospital. She's
Right.
in that resort, like
right.
alcohol, you know what I mean, a little broken this, a little broken. She was probably in there like, I don't know what to do with
Yeah,
this.
she like, what the fuck is going on here? Grab this real quick.
She like, I'm internal medicine. What the hell?
Yeah, she like, y'all better help. Y'all better help me in this motherfucker.
Right, these people getting BBLs there for $800, and we surprised that nobody knows CPR.
You
Come
know
on,
what? You got a point. You got a point.
Hello?
You got a point.
Like I didn't even think twice when I heard where they were. I was like, of course, people, you know, the doctor showing up an hour later with a spoon. Like, where's
Fuck around Michael Jackson doctor down there.
Yes, we love Michael Jackson.
I was not surprised. Like, I just feel so, I mean, it's horrific. Like, she obviously suffered. I can't even imagine someone with a broken neck and you chest compressions and
right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, oh my god. I'd be like, man, fucking let me die. Shit, y'all motherfucker, y'all ain't helping.
You know that also breaks the rib case. You know,
yes, it does.
Yes.
If you don't know what you're doing,
you can get fractures from the CPR as well.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, definitely.
Deep. You gotta go
and then them fucking assholes, those animals. When the doctor was like, I don't know what to do. Let's get her to the hospital. They kept insisting, no. We don't want her to go to the hospital. Leave her here.
Leave her here. Mm-hmm.
The doctor's probably like, I'll start an IV, but then they couldn't even do that right. Like I feel sorry for that girl. I feel so bad.
Yeah, don't rely on doctors.
They did say that they wanted $5,000 in order to take her to the emergency room, Jen, and they didn't have it, or no one had it, or no one, and they called the parents and said, hey, they want $5,000 to take her to the emergency room. But at the time, they only told the parents that she had alcohol poisoning. They didn't tell them that she was like dying. So, maybe,
they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that.
This is definitely going to be a BET Plus movie in a couple of years.
It better not be. I need good. I need a good movie on there.
Definitely.
Scott is going to
they gonna have Jen playing the doctor.
She better do that shit too.
No, Jen, I want Jen to play. I want Jen to play
you better
Winter.
go get that bag.
I want Jen to play Winter Donovan. I want Jen to play Winter Donovan.
I drive her down there myself. Like, look, homie, we gonna get this money, homie.
Tawana, is that girl white?
No, I think she's Hispanic, but she has I think she's mixed though.
Because that's an Irish name. Donovan is Irish.
Oh, okay. From what I understand, I think she's mixed.
Because I'm like Winter Donovan.
That girl.
Yeah.
Black father. You can tell she got a black father. I don't care.
Yeah, that's what they said. She's mixed. Yeah, she's mixed. But I don't even think she's white though. I think she's mixed with. I think she's mixed with.
She sound ghetto. That's what she sound like.
No, she don't.
Audio.
Winter don't sound ghetto.
Way girl.
Well, that's not why I'm saying she's mixed because she sound ghetto. I'm saying she's mixed because people were doing
either she half Hispanic, half black, or half Hispanic, half ghetto. It's one of the two.
Damn, he said she's ghetto.
Or half white, half black.
And she was best friends. She was best friends with Dejanay. That's her best friend.
You know that for a fact?
Yeah, well, we didn't say. I won't say for a fact, but I won't say for a fact, but they went back 15 years and they were showing pictures of them like doing the dolphin ride together and like being on all these other trips. And like
you're in the Hello magazine.
Hugged up and all friends and back in the day. So
Neil Saint. What's up, Neil Saint?
Hey, how's everybody doing? Peace.
Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's in the place, man. Michael Jackson.
So no Saint, since you work for the FBI, did you solve the case yet?
That would be the CIA, sir. CIA. FBI works in the nation, and CIA works
motherfucker.
Then the CIA will be like, "Oh, that's the FBI."
I'm glad she's the what's her name? I don't even want to try her name. The girl who's getting charged. Yeah, well, I'm glad she knows how to throw her hands because Mexican prison's gonna be rough. That's what I'm gonna say right now.
He's right.
That's a good point.
He's right.
And let me tell you something. They're not gonna. It's not like here where they're gonna have a. I mean, you go over there, and if they want a conviction, they're gonna get a conviction. I mean, my dog's acting up.
Whoever goes to Mexico, like it's over. They lost.
I mean, and as far as the other people, the other frenemies that were there, that's accessory to a crime anywhere when you're covering up.
Yep.
And accessory to murder. And the cover up sometimes, not in this case, the cover up's not worse than a crime, but a lot of times when you cover up, you get in trouble. You know, you might have got a little slap on the hand, like them. If they were just in the room and they were observing this, I don't know what they'd be charged with, but like the fact that they tried to cover it up, that's even worse. You know, I'm not talking about the main lady who actually, you know, did the beat down, but I'm talking about the ones videoing it and everything like that. So yeah, it's those prisons over there, you know, you're sleeping like 20 to a cell and roaches crawling all over you, and you know.
Like she's gonna suffer, that bitch. When she gets over there and they lock her up over there because they're gonna lock her up.
I mean, the only way she'd get a little bit better treatment is if her family sends her money where she's able to, you know, buy her way up in the prison. But yeah, it's no joke.
She's in trouble. She doesn't speak the language. Okay, she doesn't eat the food. She's going to suffer. And for the record, we can't even say she could throw hands because she was beating on somebody who didn't lift a finger to her back. Yeah. Not a finger like that. Watching that video just frustrates my soul.
She is going to literally be contraband in the prison. They are going to trade her for smokes and TV time, and oh no, she's going to be a resource. This is
trade her for cigarettes.
That's serious.
To wash the underwear.
Oh yeah.
Women have frenemies. Did you say frenemies?
Frenemies.
That's just standard with women, right? I mean,
wow.
Ain't that right? That's just standard.
Shots.
I mean, and I don't know, like, you know, I've watched my Locked Up Abroad. I watched a little Locked Up Abroad. I don't know. I see Don Levant's talking about Colombians, Brazilian prisons. There's a lot of those prisons that, like he said, you don't pay up, you don't eat, you don't have money, you just you're not eating. And it's like the police, the security there. I mean, they basically just making sure you don't get out. Everything's being run on the inside by the gangs. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yep. You watch World's Toughest Prisons?
Yes.
Yes.
America ain't got shit. America ain't got shit on these other prisons outside of America, man.
But I'm glad that's where she's going, because she's gonna suffer. She's gonna suffer real bad. Don't speak the language. Not used to the food. And you unattractive as fuck. Like, she's fucked.
She better come with some hard evidence that it wasn't her. That's all I gotta say. I need to see.
No, she's going down regardless, because the arrest warrant says right here it's labeled as for femicide.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. She attacked a woman. That's automatic. She's going to jail regardless. You can't. You were hitting on a woman on video. It doesn't matter what the case is. She's going to jail for that.
The only thing she could do now, is pull people down with her.
That's it.
Exactly. Cut it.
Yeah.
Cut a deal.
Or she gonna have to go on the run. But where can you run to?
She don't got money.
She ain't running no goddamn place. Where the hell she gonna go?
Well, she already in Connecticut where her mother lives.
She gonna get roped up by some Mexican cartel motherfuckers.
She left North Carolina because people were looking for her and
money to run. A lot of money.
That's right.
Yeah.
You barely have money to stay.
And her face is she has a very distinct look. So she can't even hide like, oh, let me change my hair.
Yeah, ugly than a motherfucker.
And can I just say that she is not a man? I'm so tired of people saying she's a trans. She is a woman. She is like a whatever cis woman, whatever y'all want to call it. Natural born cis woman. She's not a transgender. She
just looks like her daddy. That's all.
She's not a transgender. She's not a man. So
I mean, thank you for clearing that up, Lana. I didn't know if she was or wasn't. But I can say that for some women, there's some very strong jawlines on some women out there. Let's just call it what it is. I'm not saying that's a reason to refer to someone as a man, but I've seen some women out there that can out nigga me. I'm just saying.
You can't believe everything you see on Black YouTube, right? That's another thing.
So I didn't assume it was a trans woman. I didn't know anything because there were just so many conflicting stories. All I knew is that this young lady, lost her life. First there was 3 dudes in the room, then there was 1, then it was a trans person, then it was only 1 girl. There was just a lot of conflicting stories. So I'm just hoping that we can get to the bottom of the situation and we can, really, shut the situation down as immediately as possible. With that, wait 1 second. With that being said, I gotta go.
Yeah, I'm out too.
Okay. See y'all.
With Juana, it was wonderful seeing you.
Yeah, I'm back in these YouTube streets, but just today. This is the only time I got on. Usually I'm not talking about this.
Well, we're glad to see you. And before we go, can we just address this cosplay? Polly got
man.
Hello,
girl. Great.
I'm trying to do an elf. I'm trying to get the elf for Christmas time.
I see the ears. Let me see the ears. I saw an ear.
Ooh, okay.
Well, that's dope.
I love
the freckles.
Oh, you added the freckles. I thought you had freckles. Look.
Are you posting pictures?
I have natural freckles, but I try to enhance them.
Are you posting pictures?
I'm gonna take some. I just did it. So while we were just sitting on here.
All right. So I'll let you go take your pictures. It is time to close. It's going on 3 hours. I gotta eat. And Alicia, why did you even leave? And Alicia says she's coming back. We're closing, Mama. We're closing. I don't want to do 3 hours tonight.
Okay, yeah.
Out and I gotta be back tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day.
Right. Thank you.
Tomorrow. And Alicia, come back tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be good too.
Okay, what you talking about tomorrow, Jen?
Tomorrow's gonna be hella good. I'm talking about what did I say I was talking about, guys, at the beginning? No, it's gonna be good tomorrow. Oh, okay. Tawana, the beef between Nicole Arbor and Cardi B.
Oh,
that beef. Have you seen that beef?
No, but I would love.
No, I need to go look it up, Lord.
I'm gonna tune in so I can know because I haven't seen it, but I know Cardi always in some. I don't like her. Whatever. So
I'm gonna watch that. I'll watch that from the bleachers. I'm not.
Check out. First of all, tomorrow's
check it out.
subject is gonna be broad. It's not gonna be about women.
Right. Exactly.
What I'm saying.
Mentality. It's about mentality.
Right.
Okay.
Check out that beef, Tawana. Check out that beef between Cardi B and Nicole Arbor. What they were saying.
I'm looking it up now. Okay.
I was like, So you guys come back tomorrow. You already know I love having y'all here. What's up, Vaughn? Haven't seen you in a minute. And Alicia, come back tomorrow if you can. I'll be on around about the same time. I love.
No, that'd be wonderful. We getting the band back together. We got you. Right? We got Juana.
We never broke up. Okay, I'm just pregnant and I took a break. That's all.
As you should.
Albums. That's it.
I just got I got life things happening. I've never broken up. Those are my bitches until I die. Okay, we're not frenemies. Okay.
We're missing Freezy, man.
Yeah. What's her name again? I'm sorry, Cardi B. And who? What's her name?
Nicole Arbor.
Oh, because Nicki Minaj keep coming up. Okay.
Nicole Arbor. What were you gonna say? No, Saint?
Yeah, I'm just curious because I was out for the most of the show and I didn't get to see any of it. I'm just curious, is Big Truck back or did you
he didn't come up today. He didn't come up.
I'm wondering if he's hurt from you kicking him off the other night.
Oh, geez.
I hope not. Juana.
No Saint is so petty.
Oh my God. That's a frenemy. That's a frenemy right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is a clear example. Okay, that's a clear example.
No, I'm serious. I like Big Truck, and I like it when he's on the
You
panel.
can come back. I mean, I don't got no problem with him.
Yeah. No, I like him.
Fuck up sometimes, but you know what I mean. I say that to anybody.
I don't even think Juana knows who Big Truck is.
No.
Oh, they're gonna clash. They're gonna clash.
You know, I've been disconnected for a while, so I got to get back in here and see what's going on.
Ooh,
but,
that
Truck, if you're watching, we look forward to you coming back.
But
I want him back.
Let me get off by Jen, okay? See y'all.
Right,
see y'all. See everybody.
Tristan, take us
out. What do I got here?
He's looking at his goodie bag.
Ironically, a bullshit doctor basically was the end of Michael Jackson. Just always some bullshit doctors, man.
I mean, you get what you pay for.
What did he
Ain't
make
that right?
A drug addict and having so much money, he moved his drug dealer in the house.
That is another thing.
Okay,
that's a privilege for your ass. Anyway, sorry, Tristan.
No, it's all right. Since we're being violent for no reason these last several years, how about we be kind for no reason?
Doesn't that make you feel all warm and fuzzy and gooey?
Look at me and Tristan.
Oh, you're the big dog, right? The big, rabid, relentless animal.
I love you all.
So disrespectful, and I try to love everybody. So disrespectful.
Ron is terrible.
Good night, guys. This was fun. No, Saint, you got to come earlier.
Yeah. I know. You know I was busy tonight, though.
Nah, have fun. Listen, live your life. This is secondary.
Yeah, I know, but I definitely enjoy coming on there. All right. Have a good night.
Good night. All right, guys, if you're still here, hit that like and subscribe for Mama. You can support the show. Cash App on the block with Jen is scrolling at the bottom. Hit the notification bell so you know when I'm on. People are like, I didn't know you were on. You got to hit that little bell. It is your responsibility to know when I'm on. Come back tomorrow. Tomorrow will be some more fireworks. And hopefully some of my people will be up earlier. So good night. I am starving. I got to go eat. All right, guys. Good night. And I'm out. Veganista, come back tomorrow. It won't be no football. All right, guys.